Associate Professor Dr. Azari bin MD Hashim as Deputy Rector from UiTM Malaysia, Dr. Krit Sachai Somsaman as Deputy Director of Seameo Secretariat Thailand, Shirley C. Agrupis PhD as the President of Mariano Marcos State University of Philippines, and the last, Professor Slamet PH MA MED MA MLHR PhD as the Head of Education and Culture of Majelis Luhur Persatuan Tamansiswa. I'm sorry if I made spell or pronounce of the name above. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we start our event today, let us have a moment of silence. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen and distinguished guests, let's begin our agenda by singing our national anthem Indonesia Raya, followed by Tamansiswa Hymn. Ladies and gentlemen, would you like to stand up?
Di sanalah aku
ladies and gentlemen, and all of the participants. The first agenda is opening speech delivered by the head of Majelis Luhur Tamansiswa, Ki Profesor Dr. Edi Swasononiti Dingrat. Prof. Edi, the floor is yours.
Prof. Sri Edi, please. Prof. Sri Edi, please.
Prof. Sri Edi, the floor is yours.
I've heard the students have sung. Don't mention Indonesia. Please say Indonesia, not Indonesia. Indonesia. Okay, good morning. We are delighted to have you here in this seminar. The theme of the seminar is education, culture, and nationalism. Actually, what is nationalism? Nationalism is a belief. Nationalism is a doctrine. Nationalism is a mindset that we should put national interest as a paramount priority. We should put nationalism in the first rank of priority. Special expression of nationalism, for example, remember when American leader in 1776, Patrick Henry, he said against the Britain, please give me liberty or give me death. Is this the same in 1946? Our young student also fight against the Dutch and say merdeka atau mati. And also another expression of nationalism is what President John F. Kennedy said: never ask what the country can do for you, but ask yourself what you can do for the country. Okay. It is also said, the expression on nationalism, also said by Uncle Ho, meaning Ho Chi Minh, when French soldier left Vietnam and came American soldier, Ho Chi Minh said, we will win because we have secret weapon. And the American tried to find out what is the secret weapon. The weapon of mass destruction? No, they cannot find it. They could not find it. Biological armament? No, it was not. They were not there. So finally, American soldier have to leave Vietnam. Vietnamese soldier won the war. And then they try to find what were the secret weapons. And Uncle Ho said, Ho Chi Minh said, the secret weapon is nationalism. Nationalism. Now, the economists say also that nationalism is the powerful force, the most powerful force to move the development. So development is actually for the Ibu Pertiwi, for the motherland or for the fatherland. Okay. Nationalism in Indonesia seems to be declining. Yes, it is declining, but nationalism will never disappear. Will never disappear. I have to say this, I don't believe in the Western paradigm saying now is the time of the end of nation state. I don't believe that Western paradigm. It is elusive and maybe delusive. And also, I don't believe in the borderless world. Borderless world is an imperialistic view of the Western power. I don't believe in that. I do believe in what President Trump said. What President Trump said. American first. And what President Trump and also President Obama said, buy American. Buy American. Belilah produk-produk Amerika. It's a kind of nationalism. Why don't we committed also to say, buy Indonesian, buy Indonesian-made commodities? Why we don't do that? Why don't we be proud of having Indonesian-made product? The answer is that culture matters. Culture matters. What I mean with that, because we feel inferior. We consider development as westernization. This is inferiority of the islander, the inferiority of the pribumi. Now come to national education. The national education should mencerdaskan kehidupan bangsa. What is it? Mencerdaskan kehidupan bangsa is to dignify the people of Indonesia. Feel confidence. And we have to remove our underdog mentality. Then we have to feel sovereign. Maybe I have to, for Indonesia, I have to remind you what Schiller said. He said, eine große Epoche hat das Jahrhundert geboren. Aber der große Moment findet ein kleines Geschlecht. In English, maybe I have to translate this. Century will be produced by an epoch, a great epoch. Unfortunately, this great moment only finds little people. Masa yang besar melahirkan abad. Sayang, di masa yang besar itu, kita hanya menemui orang-orang kerdil. Orang-orang kerdil mean people with inferiorities complex. People yang tidak cerdas kehidupannya. Well, I guess I'm sorry that I cannot be with you in Jogja. No, the time is yours. Thank you very much. Terima kasih banyak. Salam dan bahagia.
Well, thank you, Ki Profesor Dr. Edi Swasono Nitidingrat.
Sri Edi Swasono, please.
Thank you, Ki Profesor Dr. Edi Swasono Sri Edi Swasono Nitidingrat for the speech, and I'm sorry for mispronounce your name. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now we are continuing our meeting. To the next agenda is a keynote speakers, question and answer, as well as a token appreciation for the speakers. The first speaker is Bapak Jumeri STP MSI as General Director of Early Childhood Primary and Secondary Education of the Republic Indonesia. The second speaker is Associate Professor TS Dr. Azari bin MD Hashim as Deputy Rector from UITM. The third speaker is Dr. Krit Sachai Somsaman as Deputy Director of Siameo Secretariat, Thailand. And the fourth speaker is Shirley C. Agrupis, PhD, as the President of Mariano Marcos State University, MMSU, Philippines. And the last speaker is Professor Slamet PH MA, MED, MA, MLHR, PhD, as the Head of Education and Culture of Majelis Luhur Persatuan Tamansiswa. In this session will be led by the moderator, Ibu Ima Widya Stuti, SSMA TESOL. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the time. Ladies and gentlemen, today I would like to introduce myself first before I start this session. My name is Ima Widya Stuti, as the moderator for today's panel sessions. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to greet you firstly. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and salam dan bahagia. The Honorable Rector Universitas Sarjana Wiyata Tamansiswa Profesor Dr. Andes Haji Partimin MPD PhD, the Honorable Vice Rectors 1, 2, 3 and 4 of University Sarjana Wiyata Tamansiswa, the Honorable Plenary Sessions Speakers, Parallel Session Speakers, and all participants of the current seminar. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to invite all the plenary sessions speakers. The first is Mr. Jumeri STP MSE, the General Director of Early Childhood, Primary and Secondary Education of the Republic of Indonesia. And then second, Mr. Associate Professor TS Dr. Ashari bin MD Hashim, the Deputy Rector of Research and Linkages UITM, Kedah, Malaysia. And then the third, Mr. Dr. Chris Sachi Somsaman, the Deputy Director of CMO Secretariat. And then the fourth, Ms. Shirley C. Agrippius, PhD, the President of Mariano Marcos State University, the Philippines. And then the last, Mr. Professor Slamet, PH, MA, MED, MA, ML, HR, PhD, the head of Education and Culture of Majelis Luhur Persatuan Tamansiswa. Okay, well, let's start. Directly, I would like to start these sessions, but before that, I would like to inform you that this session will be divided into two subsessions. The first subsession is the presentation, so that all the presenters of these sessions will deliver all the presentation material. After all, we will have question answers in around 30 minutes. Okay, now I would like to start by inviting Mr. Jumeri STP MSc, the General Director of Early Childhood Primary and Secondary Education of the Minister of Education and Culture, the Republic of Indonesia.
Good morning, Madam Moderator.
Yeah. Good morning, Bapak.
Yeah, allow me to introduce myself.
Yeah.
I am Muhammad Hasbi.
Oh, Pak Hasbi. My apology, Bapak. Not Pak Ibu. Okay, so is it changed into Pak Hasbi? Okay. Okay, so sorry, Bapak. Just know that these informations. Okay, Bapak Hasbi, now time is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, on behalf of Director General of Early Childhood Education, Primary and Secondary Education, Ministry of Education and Culture, Research and Technology, allow me to express our big appreciation for inviting Kemendikbudristek to this very valuable seminar. A deep apology from Pak Jumeri, Director General of Early Childhood Education, Primary and Secondary Education, because he could not join us today due to another assignment without reducing respect to all of the attenders of the seminar. And also, allow me to deliver his keynote speech in Bahasa as has been prepared by the Director General. Yang terhormat, pembina, pengurus, dan segenap anggota perguruan Tamansiswa, Ketua Penyelenggara dan Panitia Webinar menuju satu abad Tamansiswa, para pemerhati, akademisi, praktisi, dan pegiat pendidikan, kemudian para narasumber, hadirin Ibu dan Bapak yang tidak dapat disebut satu persatu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, shalom, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, rahayu, dan salam sehat untuk kita semua. Pertama-tama, mari saya mengajak kita semua untuk senantiasa memanjatkan rasa syukur kehadirat Tuhan Yang Maha Esa yang telah memberikan anugerah kesehatan dan kesempatan kepada kita semua sehingga kita dapat berkumpul untuk mengikuti webinar yang sangat strategis ini, yaitu menuju satu abad Tamansiswa. Mewakili Kemendikbudristek, izinkan kami menyampaikan apresiasi yang sebesar-besarnya kepada segenap pengurus perguruan Tamansiswa yang telah memberikan ide strategis untuk menyelenggarakan webinar ini sebagai wadah bagi kita semua untuk menimba ilmu dan pengetahuan terkait pendidikan, kebudayaan, dan nasionalisme dalam adaptasi kebiasaan baru. Ibu dan Bapak yang kami hormati, berbicara mengenai pendidikan tentu saja tidak bisa dilepaskan dari sosok Bapak Pendidikan Republik Indonesia, yaitu Ki Hajar Dewantara. Pada tanggal 3 Juli tahun 1922, Bapak Ki Hajar Dewantara mendirikan lembaga pendidikan yang kita kenal sebagai Tamansiswa. Ki Hajar Dewantara dalam mendirikan Tamansiswa memiliki konsep tentang pendidikan. Yang pertama yaitu Tri Sentra Pendidikan, menegaskan bahwa pendidikan yang diterima peserta didik terjadi di 3 lingkungan, yaitu lingkungan keluarga, lingkungan perguruan, dan lingkungan masyarakat. Ketiga lingkungan tersebut mempunyai pengaruh edukatif dalam pembentukan kepribadian anak. Yang kedua, sistem Among yaitu sebuah sistem pendidikan yang berjiwa kekeluargaan dan sesuai dengan kodrat alam dan kemerdekaan. Sistem Among menurut cara berlakunya disebut sistem Tutwuri Handayani yang sampai saat ini menjadi slogan atau paradigma di Kemendikbudristek. Ibu dan Bapak yang kami hormati, apakah paradigma pendidikan yang telah disampaikan oleh Ki Hajar Dewantara masih relevan dalam kehidupan kita saat ini? Jawabannya adalah masih sangat relevan untuk kita terapkan bahkan pada masa adaptasi kebiasaan baru saat ini. Di Kemendikbudristek sendiri, paradigma pendidikan yang disampaikan oleh Ki Hajar Dewantara telah menjadi ruh dalam berbagai kebijakan pendidikan. Kemendikbudristek telah meluncurkan payung kebijakan Merdeka Belajar yang secara filosofis merupakan upaya untuk memberikan keleluasaan atau kemerdekaan kepada ekosistem pendidikan untuk menentukan bagaimana proses pendidikan akan dilaksanakan sehingga mampu menghadirkan proses pembelajaran yang kontekstual, bermakna dan menyenangkan sehingga peserta didik memiliki hasil belajar yang holistik yang tidak hanya menguasai kemampuan yang bersifat esensial tapi juga memiliki karakter yang paripurna yang dibutuhkan untuk menjadi sumber daya manusia yang kompetitif di abad ke-21 ini. Dari sisi kebijakan, Merdeka Belajar mendorong para pelaku pendidikan mulai dari kepala sekolah, guru, orang tua, masyarakat, sektor private, pemerhati pendidikan untuk menjadi pelaku utama dalam upaya melakukan transformasi pendidikan sehingga mampu menghadirkan layanan pendidikan berkualitas bagi seluruh rakyat Indonesia. Kebijakan Merdeka Belajar berfokus untuk mencapai 3 tujuan utama, yaitu yang pertama, meningkatkan akses untuk memperoleh pendidikan bagi seluruh rakyat Indonesia. Yang kedua, meningkatkan kualitas layanan pendidikan. Dan yang ketiga, meningkatkan pemerataan memperoleh pendidikan baik secara geografis maupun secara demografis. Sampai saat ini, Kemendikbudristek telah meluncurkan 19 seri kebijakan Merdeka Belajar yang diharapkan mampu mengungkit kualitas pendidikan di Indonesia dan mencapai visi dan tujuan kebijakan Merdeka Belajar sebagaimana telah saya sampaikan tadi. Ibu dan Bapak yang kami hormati, sebagaimana kita ketahui bersama bahwa sudah sejak lama pendidikan kita mengalami tantangan yang cukup besar. Selama 15 tahun terakhir, capaian hasil belajar peserta didik kita terutama diukur dari sisi kemampuan literasi dan numerasi belum menunjukkan capaian yang menggembirakan. Tantangan ini selama 2 tahun terakhir diperbesar oleh munculnya pandemi COVID-19 yang telah meluluhlantakkan berbagai sektor kehidupan kita, terutama di sektor pendidikan. Pandemi COVID-19 telah mengakibatkan bertambahnya tantangan dalam upaya untuk menghadirkan layanan pendidikan berkualitas bagi peserta didik kita. Beberapa di antara tantangan tersebut adalah yang pertama, risiko putus sekolah dikarenakan anak terpaksa bekerja untuk membantu keuangan keluarga, kemudian banyaknya orang tua yang tidak bisa melihat peranan sekolah dalam kegiatan belajar mengajar, kemudian yang ketiga adanya perbedaan akses dan kualitas selama pembelajaran jarak jauh, kemudian yang keempat hilangnya kesempatan belajar, yang kelima terjadinya kekerasan terhadap anak di rumah tangga yang tidak terdeteksi oleh guru, dan yang keenam ketika anak tidak lagi datang ke sekolah terjadi peningkatan risiko pernikahan dini, eksploitasi, terutama bagi anak perempuan dan tentu risiko yang lain. Hadirin yang berbahagia, sebagai upaya untuk menghadapi berbagai tantangan tersebut, Kemendikbudristek telah melakukan berbagai terobosan untuk memastikan bahwa peserta didik tetap dapat memperoleh layanan pendidikan berkualitas. Kebijakan pembelajaran pada masa pandemi telah disesuaikan beberapa kali dengan mempertimbangkan keselamatan, kesehatan, dan evaluasi capaian belajar. Kemendikbudristek telah menghadirkan berbagai dukungan program untuk memastikan terjadinya pemulihan belajar pada masa dan saat pasca pandemi COVID-19. Kebijakan tersebut antara lain kuota internet gratis, bantuan UKT, uang kuliah tunggal, subsidi upah, distribusi modul pembelajaran, program belajar dari rumah, kurikulum darurat, dan kampus merdeka. Terkait dengan implementasi kurikulum di masa pandemik dan masa pemulihan dari pandemik, kurikulum darurat dan kurikulum merdeka menjadi opsi yang dapat dipilih oleh satuan pendidikan. Kurikulum darurat merupakan penyederhanaan dari kurikulum 2013. Kebijakan kurikulum darurat mengurangi dampak negatif di bidang pembelajaran secara signifikan, yaitu sebesar 73% di bidang literasi dan 86% di bidang numerasi. Kurikulum merdeka, di sisi lain, merupakan kurikulum yang lebih fleksibel, sekaligus berfokus kepada materi esensial dan pengembangan karakter dan kompetensi murid. Hadirin yang kami hormati, berbagai kebijakan dalam rangka menghadapi pandemi dan pemulihan pembelajaran pasca pandemi tentunya tidak akan dapat berjalan tanpa governance yang baik. Kebijakan ini memerlukan dukungan semua pihak untuk memastikan bahwa semua kerja keras kita bermuara pada satu tujuan, yaitu melayani dengan sebaik-baiknya kepentingan peserta didik kita sebagaimana telah dipesankan oleh Bapak Ki Hajar Dewantara. Oleh karena itu, melalui kesempatan yang baik ini, izinkan kami mengajak kita semua untuk terus bersama-sama, bahu-membahu dalam upaya menghadapi berbagai tantangan pendidikan yang kita hadapi saat ini. Kami menyampaikan ucapan terima kasih yang sebesar-besarnya atas dukungan dan kerjasama yang baik yang telah ditunjukkan oleh seluruh pemangku kepentingan di bidang pendidikan dalam upaya menghadapi tantangan pendidikan kita saat ini. Hadirin yang kami hormati, demikian beberapa hal yang dapat kami sampaikan. Semoga Allah Subhanahu wa taala, Tuhan yang Maha Kuasa, memberikan kelancaran kepada kegiatan ini serta senantiasa memberikan kesehatan kepada kita semua. Selamat hari jadi Tamansiswa yang ke-100 tahun. Semoga mampu menjadi wadah untuk menuangkan inovasi dan gagasan tentang pendidikan, dan semoga Tamansiswa dapat selalu menjadi contoh dan teladan sekaligus panutan bagi masyarakat dalam dunia pendidikan. Lebih dan kurangnya mohon dimaafkan. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Shalom, Om Santi 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 Om. Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan rahayu dan salam sehat untuk kita semua. Juni 2022, Bapak Jumeri STP MSI ditandatangani. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Bapak. I'm so sorry because we misleading for the inconvenience. Please, we say sorry for this one. Okay. Well, now we'll move to the next speaker. I would like to invite Mr. Associate Professor T.S. Dr. Ashari bin M.D. Hashim, the Deputy Rector of Research and Linkages, UITM Kedah, Malaysia.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mrs. Moderator, for the introduction. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Bapak.
Okay,
Good morning. Okay, good morning, Bapak.
good morning.
While waiting for the preparation, I would like to read a little bit about the bio sketch of Bapak Ashari. Bapak holds a Bachelor of Design in Industrial Design from University Technology Mara, Malaysia. And then he holds a Master's in Automotive Designs from Coventry University, United Kingdom. And then the last, Doctor Philosophy in Design from Swinburne University of Technology, Swinburne University of Technology, Melbourne, Australia. And his expertise is specialized in emotion and perception on design aesthetics, automotive design, and industrial design. He has experiences in industrial collaboration with industry as well as consultancy with several government and private university at local and international level. Currently, he is the Deputy Rector of Research and Industrial Linkages, University Technology Mara, UITM Kedah, Malaysia. Well, Bapak Ashari, are you ready?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Nice to see you, Bapak. Okay. Okay, now time is yours, Bapak.
Okay, thank you, dear ST moderator. A very warm welcome to all our eminent guests, distinguished speakers and participants to the International Seminar Adaptasi Kebiasaan Baru New Era, organized by Universitas Rajana Tamansiswa, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Good morning, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam UITM di Haitiku. Ladies and gentlemen, while we are still tackling health, economic and social impacts of COVID-19, I believe this seminar with its theme, Adaptasi Kebiasaan Baru or New Era, offers a great opportunity to step back and observe the broader implication of the crisis through different perspectives. I must say that in addition to impacting the economy, society and health, the pandemic has severely tested the leadership of organizations from various sectors around the world. The crisis demanded leaders to transform leadership patterns to stay afloat and to face the disruption caused by COVID-19. Indeed, UITM is no exception when faced with this crisis, especially in terms of university operations during the pandemic. Since then, various approaches have been formed to ensure that UITM's function as the largest public educational institution in Malaysia is not affected. Decisions have to be made on adapting and transforming the work environment, such as creating a work from home policy, alterations to overall organizational practices, such as flexibility with the use of facilities and technology, have also assisted with the running of UITM's day-to-day operations. Now, I would like to share my screen. Okay, can you see it, moderator?
Yes, that's clear, Bapak. Go
Thank
on.
you. Okay, firstly, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Associate Professor T.S. Dr. Azhari Mat Hashim, the Deputy Director of Research and Industrial Linkages from UITM Kedah Branch Campus, Malaysia. On behalf of my Rector, Professor Dr. Abdullah Muhammad Hamdi, that could not be with us today, he's now in attending one of the conference in Maldives, and he's sent his regards to us in here. So I would like to give a little speech about the education in the new era, which practicing the new norm in normal life. Okay, wait. Okay, there is a few matters that I would elaborate further in this speech, which consists of some part of the COVID and post-COVID in education and economic sector in Malaysia, its positive and negative impact, as well as a lot of discussion and the conclusion from this speech. For your information, and I think this is the most common things about COVID. The COVID-19 and post-COVID in education and economic sectors has affected not just in Malaysia but around the world. The implementation of lockdown and physical distancing measures has affected and has been practicing while in COVID-19, and now we are still practicing the physical distancing measures as well as during the post-COVID. During the COVID-19, the local businesses were impacted really bad by the implementation of their by the limitation of their everyday activities. All the programs that have been planned have been cancelled or postponed or reduced down in order to avoid these effects of COVID-19. When looking up to the economy, some companies we've seen as succeed and fail due to this pandemic. But nevertheless, some of the companies and businesses were booming just because of the rise of this COVID. Why is booming? Now we will know So this COVID-19, as well as the negative, it also brings a positive impact to the economy itself. The increasing economy that can be seen really drastically achieve booming is a gig economy. So this gig economy, the online, the delivery service has recorded the highest growth in online retail penetration in 2020 since 2018. The demand of grocery delivery increased rather than for ready-made meals. Of course, people cannot eat at the restaurant, so they need to call for the groceries deliveries and ready-made deliveries. So for this one, the technology will, by using the online ordering, online retailing, has some wonderful benefits. While we stay at home, we found that by ordering the online, it will be easier for us and easier for all the company to deliver their service and products. In Malaysia, date of 11/11 and 12/12 have become some of the Malaysia's biggest e-commerce events. These events during that date offer a discount as high as 90% and achieve the highest sales in the home and living, fashion and health beauty, as well as in mother and baby categories. Malaysia ranked in the fourth in terms of top overseas countries purchasing from China on 11/11 by gross merchandise value, just behind US, Russia and France in 2020. In industry in Malaysia, during the year 2019, the handicraft business sales is around 519 million. But during the pandemic in year 2020, it's decreased around 215 million itself. According to the Malaysia's Deputy Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, 150 of the 6,220 craft entrepreneurs who enroll with Craft Tangan Malaysia has already left the industry. These craft entrepreneurs left for a variety of reasons, which would include age, health, potential in other fields, and the challenge posed by the COVID-19 pandemic itself. By the online sales during the e-commerce, the product categories that were favored by Malaysians with respect to spend are: first is travel pre-COVID, and two, consumer electrics, third, fashion and beauty, fourth, food and personal care, and five, the home appliances and baby products. When we're looking at travel, according to the survey that have been done, 1 in 3 Malaysians go on holiday once a year. This is aspect to Malaysians love to travel, spending a significant portion of their disposable income on travel in 2019, equating to Australian dollar 32.5 million. Naturally, during the pandemic, Malaysians have slowed their overall travel spend. So they spend their travel money to online, and then, however, it will likely bounce back to start the reopening of the international borders and travel capabilities. In the other categories, which is food, Food Panda and GrabFood have recorded more than 30% increase in orders since the MCO start. So this food and grocery delivery service have gained popularity in response to a preference for ultimate food hygiene, contactless interactions, and restricted movement. So it is expected that online food delivery segment will reach around US 267 million in 2021, with the restaurant to consumer delivery being the largest contributor to revenue share. So this is what will happen, what already happened during the pandemic, work from home and online distance learning. So based on the education sector, everyone, including the lecturer, including the students in the higher institution learning, practicing online workplace and online teaching and learning as an alternative. So everybody stay at home, and then lecturer will conduct class online. So it happened almost, I think, more than 2 years. So this is the part that happened in Malaysia. One of the student from public university in Malaysia have to climb the trees just to sit for an exam. Why? Because she live in the part of East Malaysia near Sabah, near the Kalimantan, Indonesia. So the internet coverage is so hard to find. So she need to climb up the mountain and try to find a higher place just to get the internet coverage. So actually, when we see the news about this, it looks like really negative impacts. However, when these girls, these students, shoot his picture and then upload there in the TikTok, upload in the Twitter, so everyone will notice it. There's no need for news agency to go there and interview with her, but everyone will share her status. Everyone will can see her situation, and now after that, the internet provider, the telecommunication provider, can overly sync and then can actually build a good satellite, a good internet coverage, not just for her, but all the villages and the surrounding places. So that is a positive impact that sometimes we see it as a negative impact. For the pandemic itself, actually, when we seen most of the research that have been done, it claimed that it gives a negatively impact on teens' mental health. Most of the parents noticed that this pandemic started 3 and 4 said that COVID has affected their teen social interaction. And then based on some of the literature that been seen in the publication, it said that during the pandemic of COVID-19, in other countries such as China, South Korea, Italy, and Iran have developed the homeschooling temporarily for millions of learners. And it has been very inconvenient for the learners actually. They had faced immense difficulties due to online schooling, according to Zhao. While according to Hassan and Bao, the fear of the academic year loss, influence of other learners, and the mental health of the learners were affected greatly. And the learners were not able to cope up with the teaching and learning during this particular time frame. I would like to share from the UITM perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, to lead an organization that provides education within range of its 35 campuses across Malaysia with more than 180,000 students and 80,000 plus staff is undeniably not an easy job. COVID-19 in turn added on to the already challenging task. Hence, UITM takes a more flexible stance by empowering members of its organization in various roles when a crisis occurs. This includes giving them the trust to make decisions as well as being accountable to follow them through. Apart from ensuring the smooth operation of UITM, the teaching and learning process is also emphasized so that students' learning is not affected. UITM have created hybrid learning session based on the open and distance learning or the action plan in all of its 34 campuses throughout Malaysia. Student safety and health remain a priority in ensuring the readiness and presence of students on campus are carefully planned and executed. Accountability and efficiency will ensure any organization succeeds in weathering the after effects of the pandemic. If not only allows the organization to continue operations more efficiently and increase productivity, but also improve its reputation. Now more than ever, we need to respond effectively to any disaster, whether natural or man-made, to enable organization to bounce back as unscathed as possible with minimal loss. I would like to share one of the surveys that have been made during the pandemic, which is the survey to look at the condition of the student during the ODL or online distance learning during the COVID-19. This study were objective to obtain information regarding online distance learning ODL experience and to understand the challenge and obstacles facing by the current enrolled students during their online learning. So the survey has been done in 2 branch campuses in Perlis and Kedah at the north of West Malaysia, which consists of 1,652 respondents by using the internet survey. So the question they were asked were around of 10 questions, like a scale of ODL experience. Based on this survey, the assessment, information, feedback, information delivery, and learning duration seems to be in the right path towards positive ODL experience. However, their comfortable study environment, accessibility to online resources, and collaborative study activities are still need a lot of improvement. So there are still a lot of improvement that can be taken to ensure that student has the highest satisfaction on ODL experience. When we are looking at the social life during the pandemic or during the after the post-COVID, we can see from this slide that new generation of millennia will facing or will have a trend that they are looking into the digital way of life, not like us, like we used to do before, playing at the playground. Now they are playing with their video station, play game, and so on. So when we are looking at the normal norm before, when we are bring food to share with friends in the canteen or in the food court, but nowadays everyone share their pictures and post it in the Facebook or WhatsApp. So it's become a new norm. And then the future trends right now. Before this, when we ask our children, what do you want to be when you grow up? Maybe they will say, oh, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a police, I want to be an astronaut. But now, the new trends offer new ways of the way they want to become when they are matured enough. So they want to be a blogger, they want to be a freelancer, and so on. And then there's a lot of opportunities and trends such as metaverse, NFT, and so on that will change the landscape of the new trends of our future generation. I have no doubt that we will emerge from the pandemics more resilient than before. This conference and your dedication to research and knowledge creation will equip us with useful evidence based on information that offers stability to better manage the risk of a rapidly transforming future. I hope that participants and speakers of this seminar will connect with each other and set the stage for future collaboration. Thank you. That's conclude my presentation, and I hope everyone will can contribute more during each of session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Bapak Ashari. That's nice to listening from your presentation. And one thing that I coined from your presentation when you show up the last slides that talking about the social life and the future, our future generation will be. I remember my kids when I asked her, "What will you to be?" And then she simply answered, "I want to be the YouTuber." Actually, that's hurt my feeling actually, but yeah, that's her life now, loving to watch YouTube. Okay, again, thank you, Baba Ashari, and now I would like to move to the next presenter. I would like to invite Mr. Associate Professor. Sorry. I would like to invite Mr. Dr. Kritsachi Somsaman. I hope I don't mean to be mistaken in pronounce this word. The Deputy Director of CMEO Secretariat. Bapak, are you there?
Good morning. Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, good morning, Bapak. How are you?
I'm okay. Awesome.
So sorry if I made a mistake in pronouncing your name. Is it
No
correct?
problem.
Is it correct?
It's pretty close. It's Kritsashai.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, Bapak. While waiting for the preparation, I would like to read your short biography. Okay, Mr. Dr. Krit Sache Somsement is the Deputy Director of CMEO Secretariat. He manages the digital transformation of CMEO Secretariat and strengthens the organization of its crisis response capability. Prior joining CMEO Secretariat, he was the senior officer at ASEAN Secretariat in Jakarta. Ah, you have been here. Okay, and a director of Science Media Divisions at the National Science and Technology Development Agency in Bangkok, Thailand. His works on science communication have bridging art and science together, resulting in a significant enhancement of public awareness of science and technology in Thailand. His productions of science TV program entitled The Little Scientist House. Wow, it will be nice if my kid watch this. Brought his team a Makala Awards for Best Animation Series, where he also served as a music composer and sound engineer. He was the supporter of Maka movement in Thailand, where he brought a world-renowned event, Maka Fair, to be hosted in Thailand from 2015 and 2020. It's very nice. I'm not job anymore. Okay, Bapak, now it's time is yours.
Thank you so much. Really lovely to be here today. Okay. Well, Honorable Rector and Vice Rectors of the Universitas Sarjana Widyata Tamansiswa, Honorable Representative from the co-organizer of this event, distinguished speakers, esteemed guests, officer, staff, organizer, participants, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, selamat pagi from CMEO Secretariat Headquarters in Bangkok, Thailand.
Selamat pagi.
Salam dan bahagia.
Salam.
Thank you. Once again, I'm Dr. Kitsachai Somsaman, Deputy Director on Administration and Communication at the CMEO Secretariat. On behalf of the Director, Dr. Ethel Agnes Pasco Valenzuela, it is my pleasure to congratulate the entire community of Tamansiswa as we are gathering here today to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Tamansiswa, which is very lovely, very nice. Unfortunately, we can't be in Yogyakarta today. Otherwise, Yogyakarta is one of the cities that I love to visit.
Nice. One day,
Yeah,
maybe,
very,
Bapak.
and actually, I will be there again in August.
Oh,
We have that. We have our CMEO Center, CMEO Kitab in Mathematics in Yogyakarta, and I will visit CMEO Kitab in August as well. So It would be nice to go back to visit Yogyakarta once again.
Okay,
But
one day, one day.
yeah, but today we are virtually in
Yeah.
Yogyakarta together.
Yeah, nice. Well,
Okay. All right. It's a great honor to present at this event and especially to be a part of the 100th year celebration. So today I'll discuss about education, culture, and nationalism in new era. And I'm delighted to show you how Simios play our vital role in addressing education, culture, and nationalism in the new era. Well, first, let me share my presentation. Okay, here we go. Can you see my presentation?
yes, that's very clear.
Okay, all right. First of all, I would like to give everyone here a brief introduction of Simeo. As the name of our organization implies, Simeo, which stands for Southeast Asian Minister of Education Organization. We are an international organization among the government of Southeast Asian countries, and we are established since 1965, well, more than 50 years ago, to promote regional collaboration in education, science, culture in Southeast Asia. And we are having 11 member countries, 10 ASEAN countries, plus Timor-Leste. Apart from Simo Secretariat, which is the executive arms of the organization in Bangkok, Thailand, we also have 26 centers and networks spread across Southeast Asia as excellence center to conduct research implementation, implement programs and projects to support education ministry and enhance collaboration within the region and with partners from different countries. As I mentioned earlier, we have our Simo Center in Mathematics resides in Yogyakarta. And also, as I mentioned earlier, Simeo works comprise of 3 areas of education, science, and culture. So these 26 centers and network have the main mission in one of these 3 areas. We have 16 centers cover education realm, and we have 8 centers on science discipline and 2 centers on culture. Since today we are focusing on culture, I would like to show you the work of our 2 centers which focus on culture. One is in Thailand and another one in Myanmar. But it doesn't mean that other center will not involve with cultural issue. Let me give you one example of one of our center, which is not exactly lead center for culture, but the center involved a lot in terms of the cultural development and cultural education. So, and this center, it's in Jakarta, Indonesia. Well, we have this center focusing on education, particularly language education. But as we know that education is regarded as one of the important platforms when it comes to instilling the knowledge of culture as well as nationalism. So culture is in everything. Culture is made up of all ideas, belief, value, knowledge, language, and a way of life a group of people shares. Culture is expressed through such things as foods, celebrations, music, art, laws, custom, ritual, and language. And we usually say that culture is not taught, but people learn the culture by living it. People decide what is right or wrong and respectful or disrespectful based on belief or value in their culture. This paragraph that I show you on the screen comes from a concept note of a program implemented by Simeo Regional Center for Quality Improvement of Teacher and Education Personnel in Language. You may already know from the name of Simeo Kitab in Language or SIKIL. SIKIL is our center based in Jakarta, Indonesia. For several years, SIKIL has organized a competition, a storytelling competition with the theme of listening to Asia. As you can see from the excerpt I put on this presentation, the storytelling which was conducted by our Center for Language Education actually deal with cultural aspect of the society. One respectful way to better understand valuable wisdom, belief, or knowledge of people in the region is by listening to their moral stories, such as folk story, legends, fables, heroic stories beyond great heroes and leaders, and the like. By listening and comprehending the hidden value beyond those great stories across Southeast Asia, it is expected that cultural barrier may break down and hence ASEAN community become stronger. This is what written in the concept note of this storytelling event by Simulated in Language. So as you can see from here, culture is everywhere and in everything. Well, you don't teach culture, but we learn and live with culture. And as some of you might already know, the storytelling competition was also happened during the COVID-19 pandemic. That means we can still keep learning continue despite the disruption from the unexpected problem. And we will still keep learning continue in the new era, whatever the new era would be. One of the beauty of human being is our adaptability, and adaptability is one of our culture as well. And despite the pandemic, we still work across the boundary of the country. So this is one from our center in Indonesia, which not really focus on culture, but on language education, but they're also involved with building culture. So let me introduce you to our center in Thailand, which directly deal with culture. The name of the center is SPAFA, or Simeo Regional Center for Archaeology and Fine Arts. So as you can see from SPAFA mission is to promote research and practice in archaeology and fine art, and also a training center to advance knowledge and technology. So we don't really teach culture, but we conduct research and develop technology to advance our knowledge related to culture. So this should be clearer when we look at the founding purpose of the center. SPAFA is to cultivate awareness and appreciation of cultural heritage, and promote archaeology and cultural activities. Let's take a look at the rightmost one, advance mutual understanding among the countries of Southeast Asia. So the center is not on the preservation of cultural heritage, but also embracing change of the culture. We need to find a balance between preserving cultural heritage and embracing change. But many people talk about this issue as well, as the statement saying that education as a part of culture has the twin function of conservation and modification or renewal of the culture. Education is conceived as a systematic effort to maintain a culture. So these two functions of preservation and renewal by education become prevalent. I would encourage you to visit Simeo SPAFA website to see their activities, and you may find something of your interest which you can join, or you can discuss with the centers on collaborative work of something of your interest. Well, recently the center SPAFA is having a project on rock art of Southeast Asia and the world, which is still occurring. You can visit the website of Simeo SPAFA showing on the screen to see all the activities. There are also other part of the fine art, the artistry and creative process in the making of Malang mask in East Java, and also all from Thailand and from Myanmar as well. So we cover the issue of culture across the region of Southeast Asia. Another CMO center which has its main focus in culture is in Myanmar. The center is called CMO Chat. CMO Chat is our regional center for history and tradition. As you can see from CMO Chat's mission, there are two issues which I would like to point out. The first one is meet the challenge of the 21st century. And the second one is developing greater identity. These are two issues that I would like to discuss further in more detail. So when we talk about the challenge of the 21st century, so what are the challenges of the 21st century regarding culture or relating to the issue of culture? So let's see what CMO Chat has mentioned. 5 global trends in culture which lead to activities in CMO Chat to deal with the challenge of the 21st century. The first one is the tangible and intangible cultural heritage. The intangible cultural heritage, what we can address by education, include issues such as peace education, global citizenship education, and education for the prevention of violent extremism. And moreover, the interest has grown in the contribution of new technology in preservation and transmission of intangible heritage. So the issue of intangible heritage become very prevalent in our today's world. The other challenge and trend on the issue of the resilience to climate-related disaster. Natural disaster due to climate change occur more frequently and more severe, which result in increasing vulnerability of rural and coastal community. There are priorities to understand the disaster risk and focus on public and private investment in disaster risk prevention and reduction through structural and non-structural measures. There are also a challenge on the global citizenship education, as the world has been highly interconnected. But the human rights violation, cultural ignorance, and discrimination still persist. Many special theme programs have been established to tackle the challenge under global citizenship education, such as preventing violent extremism through education, education about Holocaust and genocide. These are some issues that arise in the global trend in culture. And fourth, which we have heard a lot and more often, on the sustainable tourism and employment. Sustainable tourism is one of the most noticeable and growing sectors. Tourism is perceived by International Labour Organization as one of the driving force of job creation, economic growth, and development. The fifth one is artistic creativity and social inclusion. Well, we talk about the creative industry, creative economy a lot, but it is realized that the lacking of infrastructure and inadequate training made cultural and creative industry fragile in some countries. The recognition, innovation, and the cooperation of all stakeholders are required to the strong establishment of the creative industries. So these are issues that being tackled by our CMO Chat, one of our centers that dealing with culture and being embedded in many national curriculum. Well, this is the first issue that I have pointed out in the center mission. We talk about two issues. This the first issue, it's the challenge of the 21st century. And the other issue is on developing greater identity. This issue is linked in the concept that we are discussing today of nationalism. Like Professor Eddie mentioned earlier in his opening speech, nationalism as the first priority. Before we get to nationalism, let me briefly show you one of Simoshat's program called In Search of Southeast Asia. This is our effort to study and strengthen the regional identity. And we do this by promote cooperation in the study of history and traditions among member countries. The development of a greater regional identity can be established through research, human resource development, education, and public awareness program. These are some small parts of what Simeo Center are working on regarding culture issues. You can see more information in each center's website. Apart from education and culture, another issue I'm supposed to discuss today is on nationalism. But since CMO is an intergovernmental organization among the Ministry of Education in 11 member countries, so we are focusing more on regional collaboration. So I would address the issue of regionalism together with nationalism. Well, we always talk about globalization. Since the world becomes so little, we can travel, we can communicate very easily using technology. So we don't see the world as it used to be, but we see the world is interconnected. And it's not a very huge, very large world, but the world becomes smaller and smaller. We can reach out to other people on the opposite side of the world very easily. People become global citizens. But the issue of nationalism and regionalism is still prevalent, which Professor Eddie mentioned earlier in his opening speech as well. Well, despite the issue of the globalization, recently there has been focus on nationalism, as we can see from the previous president of the United States campaign of Make America Great Again. That's the issue that brings him to the presidency of the United States, because he wants to focus on nationalism, focus on the bringing the job, bringing the economy back into the United States. Well, and he succeeded in terms of the making him into the president of the United States. And well, but as time goes by and with the COVID-19 pandemic crisis, the national border has closed, and the issue of the nationalism become stronger. People talk more about how they have to develop the nationalism. Well, but still, the world continues to work on different trade agreements. And that's the issue of the regionalism as well. So regionalism and nationalism is not very much apart. There's a whole lot of effort that bringing nationalism and regionalism together. And for Southeast Asia, as you know, that one of the biggest regional collaboration effort in Southeast Asia is ASEAN, the ASEAN community. And people in Southeast Asia thinking about themselves as part of ASEAN community. Do you think that the people in Southeast Asia thinking about themselves as a part of ASEAN community or just a part of a particular country, particular nation? Are we having a mutual understanding of what is ASEAN and what are the ASEAN value and identity? So these are the questions that come up in our mind when we talk about regionalism and talk about the regional collaboration as ASEAN or Southeast Asian collaboration under CMIL. Well, in 2018, ASEAN had conducted a poll on ASEAN awareness. This is the result of the poll from ASEAN awareness. They asked the respondents, I think it's 4,400 respondents in the 10 member states of ASEAN, whether they are aware of ASEAN or not. 9 out of 10 respondents identify themselves firstly by nationality. So the issue of nationalism is still very strong. 98% identify by nationality. Then, as ASEAN, I would say ASEAN, not ASEAN. 96% Asian, Southeast Asian, they are identify themselves, oh, okay, they're part of the Southeast Asian. So 96%. And as the ASEAN citizen, 94%. So the number is not much different. So people still think about their nationality, but they also think in terms of regional as well. So they are part of the country and they are part of the region as well. The number is not much different, 96 and 98%. This is very interesting. So, but what do they know more about the issue of regionalism or regional collaboration? In the ASEAN poll, they asked how well people know about ASEAN across the ASEAN member state. 96% of respondents aware of the term ASEAN, the notion of ASEAN and the collaboration. 96%, that's a whole lot. Almost all the people know about ASEAN, about regional collaboration. But fewer than 1/3 really know about the detail of the ASEAN collaboration. They don't know what ASEAN community and its 3 pillars. Well, I hope all our audience know about the 3 pillars of ASEAN, ASEAN collaboration. The 3 pillars of ASEAN are political security community, or APSC, and AEC. Many of you might know about AEC, the ASEAN Economic Community, and lastly, ASCC, which are ASEAN Socio-Cultural Community. These are the 3 pillars of ASEAN. One is on political security, the second one is on economic, and the third one is on socio-cultural. So these are the issue of regionalism. People aware that they are part of the nation, and also aware that they are part of the region as well. So this is interesting. But okay, when we talk about regionalism, we usually discuss about shared identity. What are the common identity that we have together? So do we really have a shared identity to be ASEAN citizen or Southeast Asia citizen? Most people believe that shared identity is essential in creating a stronger region, a stronger regionalism. When talking about shared identity, top factors which people think about, people believe is significant in the shared identity are 72% on economic. Oh, sorry. Let's look at the bottom one first. What unite ASEAN citizens together? Top factor, 77% on economy. Well, economy, you should have the look at the regional economy together, and 55% on tradition and value. So we share some common tradition and common value as well. And 54% look at the common vision. So in order to become a region, in order to use regionalism, supposed to have common vision to bring the region together and to go together by and also have that by our stronger economy, have the tradition and value that we share. When talking about regionalism, why people need to gather together in the region and build a strong community, strong regional community. What people look at the benefit of being part of the community. Most people will look at the economic growth by being together, developing regional collaboration. It could help economic growth, and 72% of people thinking about economic growth, which should help them prosper in terms of their living. And also peace and security. By regionalism, by working together in the region, in Southeast Asia region, we can bring peace and security to the region. 51% look at its preservation and promotion of culture and heritage. I mentioned earlier about Simeo Spafar, our center in Myanmar, and Spafar, our center in Thailand, and Simeo Chat, our center in Myanmar. They work on cultural and heritage as well. So this is part of our effort to bring the preservation and promotion of the culture and heritage through the region. 51% look at better quality of life. Yes, so bringing in the issue of the regionalism, we can help better our quality of life also. And 40% look at access of jobs. So you can go across the region to work. So you have more opportunity to work and to gain economic benefit as well. So these are the issues that we talk about in the concept of the regionalism. Apart from that nationalism, we also thinking beyond the boundary of the countries and into the neighborhoods, into the region as the regionalism, which a lot of benefit of our collaboration amongst different countries in the region, the collaboration work between a country in the neighborhood. So that's the poll from ASEAN. We realize the benefit of regionalism, but still we have trouble identify our shared identity. Similar together with ASEAN, we realize the issue of regionalism, and we realize the importance of both nationalism and regionalism, and I would say somehow on the globalism as well. So let me show you this one. In the meeting of our education minister in June 2021, this is the meeting of the policy maker level. The meeting had discussed the issue of identity and value as well. The result of the discussion became Singapore's statement, which you are seeing the excerpt on the screen. Well, this statement come after we faced the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. So Minister of Education of 10 member countries gathered together to discuss how they would lead the education to the new era. And these 6 issues are their concern. And it's well, I would say that this is the commitment to action. The first one is to expand education innovation for technology pervasive future. And we can see this from the development of all the startups and all the technology which helped connect people together, assist with the way that students learn, with this way that we teach. So no matter we have the problems which we cannot come to school, we can still have technology, advanced technology that we can keep learning, continue. And the Ministry of Education of our region, would like to expand this education innovation further, so we can become resilient to what would happen in the future. Well, let's become on the second statement also, the second issue on the statement also, deepening resilience in the education system to respond to challenge. We don't know if that is in the new era that there would be another challenge, another pandemic that's coming in. And well, we need to foster and deepening the resiliency in our education system. The next issue is fostering the education environment that continue to uplift the marginalized and most vulnerable member in the ecosystem. That equitable education is the main focus. We cannot leave anyone behind. We need to take care of the marginalized and most vulnerable member of the society as well. So we'll take care of everyone, and we take care of all the part of the society. And one of the important in the education in the new era, it's the teachers. We need to build the capacity of the teacher for future-ready learners in ever-evolving world. We know about VUCA, right? The terminology of VUCA, vulnerability, uncertainty. I forgot another two, CNA, ambiguity, the last one. So the world is changing, and we don't know that what the future would be. So how can we train our people, our students, to deal with the future, which we don't know yet what would happen? What are the jobs of the future? So we need to develop the capacity of our teacher so they can help the student to advance their capability, their competency for the future, which is not known yet. And to do that, we need to work collaboratively with similar unit so we can promote lifelong learning as well. Lifelong learning is one of the issues that we need to address in the future. Currently and into the future, because right now the incoming of the artificial intelligence, the robots, which mean that the job today is not going to be. Some of the jobs today is not going to be present in the future. So we need to develop our people to be able to handle the job in the future, which may not be known today. So this is the people need to keep on learning with the concept of the lifelong learning. Everyone need to still keep on learning new things all the time. So if our current job is outdated, we can upgrade ourselves and work on another type of or expanded our capacity to work on other part of the work as well. And the last one on the list of the Singapore statement, it's the creating policy environment. Because this is the gathering of the Ministry of Education. So they are committed to create policy environment that enhance collaboration and partnership among key education actors to transfer education and science in the manner consistent with Southeast Asian identity and culture. So this is the key that I highlight, Southeast Asian identity and culture. So back once again to the value that we have on identity and culture, and we emphasized on the Southeast Asian, which mean the shared value, the shared identity of the regionalism. So I think I shall end my presentation at this point. I hope you all see the importance of collaborations to enhance the creation of identity and value, the collaboration on the study of our culture. There are many programs and projects which we could work together to strengthen our identity and share value within Southeast Asia. Thank you so much for your attention. Once again, congratulations on 100 years of history making. I have no doubt that Tamansiswa will continue to build on its many success for the year to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bapak. Thank you. Give a big applause for him. Okay, Bapak, one thing that I coined from your talk, that's long life learning. That's very nice to listen that. Seems that this is a tagline, but for me, it's quite difficult to shift our society into building the long life learning, started from the pedagogy and then andragogy, hedagogy, and now we are moving to the cybergogy. Maybe we can discuss after this, but that's very interesting, Bapak. Okay, thank you again, Bapak. And then next, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite the next speaker, Miss Shirley C. Agripis, PhD, the president of Mariano Marcos State University in the Philippines. Good morning, Ibu. Good morning, Shirley.
Yeah, good morning. Can you hear
Hi.
me?
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, very clear and very loud.
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you, Sarjana Wiyata.
Yata. Yes, that's
Yata.
nice. Universitas Sarjana Wiyata Tamansiswa. That's it.
Tamansiswa.
Yeah, okay. While waiting for the preparation, I would like to read your short bio. Okay. Dr. Shirley C. Agripis is a full-fledged professor and president of Mariano Marcos State University, or MMSU, a multi-awarded educator, researcher, and public servant. She is the recipient of 2021 Dioscoro L. Humili Medal Outstanding Science Administrator Award from the National Academy of Science and Technology, Philippines, and the 2019 William D. Dorr Research Leadership Award given by the Philippine Associations of Research Managers. As university president, she steered MMSU to be ranked 401st to 6th in the 2022 Times Higher Education Impact Rankings, a 3-star university in the QS star rating system, and ISO certified in all processes. Likewise, MMSU obtained Level 3 institutional accreditations from the accrediting agency of Charter College and University, the Philippines, and was awarded bronze level in the program to institution. What is it? Sorry. Is that the excellence in human resource management of civil servants commissions? Am I right, Shirley?
Yeah. You can cut it short. You can cut it short. My
Yeah, that's very
introduction.
But it's nice to read through your bio. Okay, the last, as a research project leader, she steered various research projects on bioethanol, which eventually paved the way for establishment of National Bioenergy Research and Innovation Center at MMSU. Okay, Shirley, now it's time for you to deliver your presentation material. Time is yours.
Thank you very much. I hope your introduction will not be deducted on my time. Yeah, officials of Universitas Sarjana Wiyata Tamansiswa, fellow speakers of today's event, fellow prime movers in education, good morning. Magandang umaga, Indonesia. I hope I pronounced it right, Indonesia.
Yes,
First,
Indonesia. Thank you.
Indonesia. First, I would like to, although you introduced already MMSU when you were introducing me, let me just mention that Mariano Marcos State University is a government-funded university in northern Philippines. It has about 15,000 students, offering 62 academic degree programs. As you have mentioned, we are a QS star and TH rank university, and just last week, the World University Real Impact named MMSU as the top 4 universities in the world when it comes to a fourth industrial revolution innovation. So that's my university, and it is a partner of your university. Thank you very much. I would like to congratulate Tamansiswa for reaching a century of culture-based education and learning. I am sure that Ki Hajar Dewantara brims with joy and pride to know that this system of education that inculcates the principles of natural destiny, freedom, cultural basis, nationality, and humanity lives on for 100 years. Congratulations. I know that Tamansiswa teachings are very down to earth and rooted in Indonesian culture. That is why I am very much honored that you have invited me, a Filipina, to be one of your keynote speakers to talk on education, culture, and nationalism in the new era. What is the new era we are referring here? It is the fourth industrial revolution, or what we call in our university as FIRE, capital F-I-R, small e, FIRE. The FIRE is marked by the rush of digitalization and automation, and it will dramatically change the way we relate to one another, the way we live, the way we work, and the way we educate our children. I am both proud and humbled to share to everyone, as I have said earlier, that recently our university, the Mariano Marcos State University, was ranked fourth in the fourth industrial revolution category of the world universities with real impact rating. MMSU was recognized for its active utilization of Industry 4.0 technologies, for encouraging students to engage in robotic systems, artificial intelligence programming, automation, Internet of Things, analytic platform, and virtual reality, and for partnering with industries for extended collaboration in learning and developing new technologies and innovation activities. All this to say that universities in Southeast Asian region do not have to be left behind, but that we can go side by side with known universities in the world in ushering in the fourth industrial revolution. The change in this era cannot be avoided by anyone. Therefore, adequate preparation of human resources is needed to be ready to adjust and be able to compete on a global scale, for our students to be prepared to engage the world alongside smart machines. We as educators must acknowledge that the way we were taught before simply won't do anything for the next generation. As American philosopher John Dewey said, if we teach today students as we taught yesterday's, we rob them of tomorrow. That is why the first thing we have to do is to redefine the purpose of education. Throughout time, the purpose of education has evolved based on the needs of society during that period. It should not be any different during this transition. Currently, education serves to prepare people to make on the tasks of a specific job or discipline. As we move further into the future, education will need to support children to develop the skill set and mindset to do anything in their future. Alvin Toffler, an American writer and futurist who is known for his works discussing modern technologies, including the digital revolution and the communication revolution, said, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Not only is there a reality that machines will take over the jobs humans do today, it is also said that 85% of jobs in 2030 don't exist yet. Meaning that the job for today may be deleted in the near future. Structured education can no longer end after leaving school or college. Education must become a lifelong endeavor, and sources of education need to evolve to provide opportunities for lifelong learning. From how long degrees take to finish, to forging stronger ties between institutions of higher learning and industry. Changes will need to be made to our post-secondary education learning and curriculum to adequately prepare students for the fourth industrial revolution or the new era. Secondly, we have to improve science, technology, engineering, math, or STEM education across the board, regardless of income level, regardless of age or gender, through curriculum reorientation. There's no doubt every worker in the future will need some technical skills. Hence, an improvement in STEM education that is ICT-based learning, the Internet of Things, big data, and computerization, as well as entrepreneurship and internship, needs to be a compulsory curriculum to produce skilled graduates in literacy, technology literacy, and human literacy aspect. It must, however, be emphasized that associated with the necessary curriculum change is the inculcation of necessary values that will help the students learn how to use this technology ethically and morally. I have to emphasize that as we forward to the new era, we need to emphasize a critical values to our students. Innovative, creative, honest, disciplined traits are required to exist in the network. That is why the character education system of Tamansiswa is still very essential in Industry 4.0, and I have to salute you for that. Even though machines are mastering many tasks typically performed by humans, people are still more adept at creative endeavors, imagination, critical thinking, social interaction, and physical dexterity. The education system of the future needs to develop these inherent abilities in humans, so they are equipped to partner with machines rather than compete with them. In a digital, interconnected world, our students need to have a global mindset. We are no longer just citizens of our country. I'm no longer just a citizen of the Philippines, or you are just a citizen of Indonesia, but we are now citizens of the world. This does not mean that we set aside the culture-based education of Tamansiswa. We can have a global mindset and still reflect our individual identity as a free and independent nation. So as we confront influences from the outside world, we can take a concentric attitude. I repeat, as we confront influences from the outside world, we can take a concentric attitude. This means being open but critical, being creative and selective, to enrich our culture through assimilation of the good elements and values of other culture while developing our national identity in the proper way. Coupled with an attitude of convergency, we cannot work in company with other nations of the world toward the realization of a universal world culture based on individual national characteristic because there is unity in our diversity. One of the good and positive global culture that we should support is the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals set by the United Nations General Assembly. The SDGs is a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that by 2030, all people enjoy peace and prosperity. As a family of nations, I believe that the attainment of the SDGs is a good call for unity in diversity. MMSU, as a university with global mindset, made conscious efforts in our practices and conduct to align ourselves to SDGs. These efforts were not in vain. In 2022 Times Higher Education or THE Impact Ranking, the only global league tables that assess universities against the United Nations SDGs, MMSU was ranked second among universities and colleges in the Philippines and ranked 401st to 600 in the world. I challenge, being our partner, Universitas Sarjana Wiyata Tamansiswa, to also take these endeavors as well. As an educational institution, we should align our goals to the SDGs and be in the forefront of developing human capital, alleviating poverty, ensuring good governance, and supporting the construction of equitable societies to maintain peace and stability. Let me use my remaining time to share to you the framework on how Mariano Marcos State University adapted to this new era of Industrial Revolution 4.0 that merited us fourth in the world universities with real impact rating. It is through this making necessary adjustments and maximizing the skills, talents, and intelligence of our human capital that we are able to thrive in this new era. Let me use my remaining time to share to you the framework on how our framework has 6 major components, namely, adopt new education tools and technologies, number 2, enhance digital governance, number 3, develop digital technology, number 4, promote industry-university collaboration, number 5, upgrade infrastructure, and number 6, intensify capacity building and development. In adopting new education tools and technologies, the university has developed its MMSU virtual learning environment, or the MVLE, and other academic support systems, including subscription to educational and video conferencing platform. I have to underscore here or emphasize here that MMSU is fortunate that during the pandemic, we were first of the few universities that survived or implement the flexible learning system. We are not buying iCloud because we strengthened our information technology team to develop our own in-house learning management system. We have also started to support this platform. We have also started and are continuously upgrading our existing curriculum to integrate industry IR 4.0 skills in all the degree programs. This is done to ensure that graduates satisfy the requirements of future industries. Moreover, courses and projects are designed to inculcate critical thinking and adaptive thinking, sound technical competence, multidisciplinary knowledge, computational intelligence, and among others. Among MMSU enhance its digital governance. How did we do it? We upgrade and develop 30 e-systems automating various processes in instruction, student support services, operations, and support and stakeholders relationship engagement. E-system integration is adapted to increase efficiency, optimize asset utilization, increase productivity, and reduce cost in the university. Moving forward, we will develop a centralized reporting system for big data. And this is one of the innovations we recently made in our organizational structure. Incorporating data analytics on the big data generated, the university will be able to develop policies, guidelines, and direction to further improve its operations. Apart from the creation and enhancement of e-systems, the university encourages innovation by adding information technology among its research trusts in order to develop digital technologies. Several research works by faculty and students researchers have conducted related to Internet of Things technologies, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and data science. Software development projects at our Information Technology Center have also started integrating systems in the university and adopting contactless and cashless technologies. Students are increasingly engaged in software design and development as part of their laboratory activities and undergraduate research. Students shall also be engaged in additive manufacturing, simulation software, robotic systems, artificial intelligence programming, automation, Internet of Things, and analytic platform, and/or virtual reality to develop or hone their talents and skills ready for the future. These initiatives are complemented by the development and upgrading of laboratory facilities. In the future, the research and extension activities of the university shall also be refocused to incorporate transformational, innovative, and adaptive technologies. This includes the development of sensor-based technologies, web-based decision support systems, and artificial intelligence technologies to support smart agriculture. The development of hybrid integrator system to optimize the blending of renewable energy sources like wind, biomass, and solar to make the university a model for energy self-sufficiency is also being developed. Even our community outreach activities are becoming digital. I would like to emphasize that to support this, we created a degree program in partnership with our industry partner in renewable energy. We offer professional science masters in renewable energy and engineering in order to create a critical mass of renewable energy experts to sustain clean and sustainable energy, not only in the Philippines, but in the world. MMSU also continually promotes industry-university collaboration, both locally and internationally, to enhance the university's quality of human resource, upgrading of skills, and acquisition of new ideas. Admittedly, university education alone cannot advance the new generation. It will need the support and partnership of tech universities and industries to embrace the work-based learning system through industry immersion of faculty and students. Hence, the university shall strengthen its global presence to create a global identity for collaborative teaching, learning, and research with various education and industry partners. The proliferation of technologies and tools used in the workplace, both for teaching and non-teaching personnel, compels intensified retooling. As a response, MMSU conducts intensified capacity building and development of its employees and staff to embrace Industry 4.0 technologies. The university trained faculty members to develop their digital skills, including the use of emerging pedagogies, to develop the skills and bring out the best from their students. Innovation and creativity skills development were undertaken to capacitate both faculty and non-teaching personnel to adapt to new technologies. Gearing up for industrial revolution required MMSU to upgrade and develop its infrastructure to embrace Industry 4.0 related technologies as the new norm of university operation. Side by side by the development of e-systems is the continuous upgrading of infrastructure toward becoming a smart university characterized by seamless and secure connections, modern and upgraded equipment, automated integrated system, reinforced research and development, and transformational and innovative technologies. In May 2021, the universities received generous funding from the Commission on Higher Education in the Philippines for this endeavor, and additional support was given to migrate the MDLE to support the further enhancement of our in-house learning management system. This summarizes our university's continuing quest to be relevant and responsive to global developments, as it hurdles the challenges of Industry 4.0 by beefing up its cyber-physical systems and technologies. It also remains true to its tradition and spirit as a university for others, outward-looking, deeply connected to industry and the communities around it, and committed to serving its stakeholders. You know, entering the new era of Industrial Revolution 4.0, the visionary teachings and thoughts of Ki Hadjar Dewantar are still very relevant for forming a superior generation, a generation 10 times better than us. It is incumbent upon us, educational institution, to continue to instill character, to instill morality, patriotism, and nationalism to our students, because these values will always remain relevant even after the Industrial Revolution. Ultimately, we believe that quality education will be measured in how educational institutions will develop globally competitive human capital that are imbued with the necessary 21st century skill to succeed in Industry 4.0. How can we do this? Through innovation, education, and sustainability. We sure did face challenges and setbacks, but we hope that together, through the sharing of mistakes and learnings, we can claim victory for the education system by championing the welfare and development of the human person amidst uncertain times. Thank you very much. Marami pong salamat.
So, thank you so much, Miss Shirley. It's very inspiring. I paid one attention on your slides when you show up the what is that smart farming. When you show up the slides, smart farming, I didn't see Universitas Sarjana Wiyata Tamansiswa logo. So maybe after this, Ibu Yuyun as one of the vice rector in our university, maybe can make further collaboration or partnership, because in our university we also have faculty of farming. That's it. Okay, thank you again, Ibu Shirley. Now we are approaching to the last speaker sessions, and I would like to invite Mr. Professor Slamet, PH, MA, MED, MA, ML, HR, PhD, the head of Education and Culture of Majelis Luhur Tamansiswa, Persatuan Tamansiswa. Bapak, would you please to come front? Okay, while Bapak Slamet take place, I would like to read a little bit about him. And actually, I'm quite curious, Bapak. Do you need some help, Bapak?
Yes.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Okay, while waiting for the setup, I would like to read a little bit about Bapak Slamet. Actually, I'm quite curious with the academic title, very long academic titles, longer than his name. Okay, first, he holds undergraduate degree in vocational teacher training, Yogyakarta Institute of Teacher Training and Education Science, and then certificate for teaching technical subject overseas in UK, MED, Master of Education in USA, Master of Arts in Political Science in USA, Master of Arts in Policy and Leadership in USA, Master of Labor and Human Resource in USA, and then PhD in Comprehensive Vocational Education in USA. Yeah, that makes sense. Very long degree titles. Okay. Still waiting. Just a moment. Bapak, maybe while waiting, do you want to say something? Actually, I'm really curious with your title. How did you manage your time with these all things?
Well, life is only time and energy. Time is the same all of us, but the difference is on how to use our energy. Yes. Let me. Can I? Oh.
Okay, you get this.
May I start while waiting for the?
Yes.
Well, I'm blessed to be invited to be as a speaker, and I appreciate for the friends, colleagues from abroad, from the Philippines, from the Malaysia, and I hope some of the time other countries speaker will be coming to our seminar. My topic is about higher education in times of change. Well, actually, this title was originally I would like to present it to the lecturers in UST, but then is thrown up to the international seminar. It's okay, you know. Let's go on, please. Next. I cannot. Oh, I can operate myself. This is the main point that I would like to present it for limited times. How long, please? How many minutes?
Actually, maximum 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Yes,
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. This one that I would like to talk to us, you know, there's 8 points that probably I don't have any time to explain in more detail, but you can have my PPT later on after listening to me. You know, this first of all, prologue. Prologue is basically, you know, I discuss about, you know, current development in technologies, particularly in the globalization, in economic supreme, and these 3 things, I think it's very important for us to pay attention, simply because they will be driver for our work, our life, our, you know, work. Sorry. Now, first of all, you know, I don't want to read all, but basically, let's see one sentence only, you know. We clearly have entered and are now experiencing the 21st century in which the merger of technology, economy, and globalization has caused significant changes to our work, social relation, government policies, lifestyle, and no exception to education in general and higher education in particular. Due to technology revolution, many repetitive jobs can be replaced by technology. And the supremacy of economy has steered our life. Likewise, the globalization has caused distances are shrinking, and the merger of technology, globalization, economy also has caused the pace of change become faster and faster. Okay, this, yeah, I just would like to read only, but nothing else. This means that, you know, we have to rethink the way of doing our higher education, and we have to also, you know, redefine, rebalance of what, you know, what to teach, how to teach, when to teach, where to teach, how long to teach. This thing, you know, will be considered by as important progress in our life right now. Yeah. This is the challenges of 21st century, and I don't want to read it all, but at least, you know, you can read it. These challenges, we have to confront it, and of course, you know, higher education is no choice, that we have to confront the challenges that we are facing right now. And you know, this thing up, I don't want to read it all, but you can read it. The characteristic of the 21st century is like this, and again, you know, I don't want to read it because you can read it later on after, you know, finishing this seminar. But basically, this 21st century characteristic will influence our, you know, I mean, will what it is, will influence our life. Advanced science and technology, of course, is the most powerful steer of our life. And when we are talking about advanced sciences and then technology right now, actually technology is sometimes more important than science. People always talking about technology, but very seldom to talk about science. But actually, I don't know exactly, but sometimes, you know, technology simply because of science, or right now technology, and then, you know, create a science. It's 2 things, you know, it's very complicated discussion anyway. But anyway, you know, the fastest development of technology is actually in communication. Others are simply, it's okay, but communication is very, very advanced in the development. The impact of technology on employment and education is very clear. Right now, I try to follow the world development of work, jobs. We are now facing what you call it de-skilling, and then, multi-skilling, reskilling, upskilling. This is the impact of technology advancement. Then, the future job, I try to identify, there are two things. One is a non-routine job, non-repetitive job, that this one is only can be done by human being, but not, for the time being. For the time being, these jobs cannot be done by technology, for the time being. I don't know exactly whether the next 20 years or not, maybe technology can replace human being, but please, go on, please. Please, next. Who is operating this one? This is what I identify, a non-routine job or non-repetitive job, and then routine or repetitive jobs. This one can be replaced by technology, particularly machine, artificial intelligence, and algorithmic. Even right now, justice, whether as whoever will be handled by the AI. Sometimes I'm thinking, why the machine discuss our life. This is very unusual for me. Next, please. The description of the future job, I think you can read it, but basically, as I told you before, that non-repetitive job, right now cannot be replaced by people, by the machine, but only repetitive job that could be replaced by technology. Next, please. When we are discussing about higher education in times of change, this means that we are dealing with how to change the higher education system, higher education institutions. I try to identify that basically if we would like to develop our university, then we have to improve our system or structure, and then we have to improve the human, I call it figure, and the third one about culture. So I call it in Indonesian language actually restructuring, reconfiguring, and reculturing. That we have to rethink about these three things: system, human, and culture. We cannot improve only one thing. Let's say system, the human being is not good as the system is very passive, and the only active thing is only human being. But then, when human being have together, have a collective effort, then culture is important. Yeah, that's why I try to do this one. We have to do restructuring, resysteming, and then refiguring and reculturing. So what is meant by change strategy? We have to rethink about our vision, mission, goals, and the regulation policy, and then for the realization of this one, they need management as well as leadership. Yeah. Now, I'm asking, what to change in higher education? Again, I told you before, three things that we have to change. One is a system. Second one is about people, human being, human resources, and then the third one is about culture. This is about collective, effort. Let's say, I would like to present a little bit, not very detailed, but just very short, system. What to change in the system? About regulation, and then logical framework, and then higher education as a system, contact, input, process, output, and outcome. I call it CIPU. So what is meant by regulation? When we are discussing about regulation, then we have to think about norms, this law, act, decree, and then standard, procedure, and criteria. when we are discussing about logical framework, this is what I mean, Every higher education institution must have a vision and then mission to achieve the mission. We have to define goals, and then the goal will define the strategy. One strategy will consist of several policies, and policy will be made in more detail to be a program. This is what I call it logical framework. And then also logical framework in management, where vision, mission, goal. This is only in abstract thing, but the reality is it should be in management and leadership. Management is dealing with the system, your technical aspect, while leadership is this talking about the human, socio-culture. This is about leadership. And then, if we can operate our higher education institution by applying management leadership, then we will have a result, expected result. This is what I call it. Logical framework, but in operation, not in ideal one, ideocracy. Yeah, this is what I call it. Then in addition to that, then higher education institution should develop what I call a CIPO, is contact, input, process, output, outcome. Outcome in short run usually only opportunity, while in the long run is about impacts, whether on private, personal impact or social impact. But this one, if I can describe this one more than 2 hours, but at least I give you some framework how to run higher education institution by applying what I call it system approach. This is what I call it. It's very easy actually if we run higher education by applying this kind of system. Not very difficult to think about, because we have rational thinking, and then what is meant by the truth in the system, and then whether the system is morally good or not, and as well as whether we have a discourse or not in the system. Well, briefly summarize higher education as a system. I'm focusing on the teaching, learning, not research and community service. First, context influencing higher education institution must be considered carefully to adopt, such as technology advancement, regulation, and type of job. Of course, others you can identify. Second, there are inputs consisting student or intake who undergo teaching learning process, and instrumental input necessary to enable the process to take place, such as facilities, money, material, human, not to mention all. Input can be luxury and very costly, but the key is that availability and provision. The third one is about teaching learning process. This is what I call it the heart of education infrastructure, characterized by intensive interaction between students and teachers by using method, educational media, internet, whatsoever to support the process. The fourth one is output. What you call it output is actually the result, the achievement of student. Output is the immediate result of teaching learning process undergone by student, usually measured by student achievement. And then finally, outcome is in the short run, you can call it opportunity, but in the long run, you can call it impacts. I don't want to make discussion in more detail this one. Later on, if you have any question, please. People, when we are discussing about the people, what it is, I call it first mind. Mindset, mind. Mind, what is meant by mind? Mind is about intellectuality, about creativity, about innovation, about memory, about, well, memory is not, cannot classify it as intelligent, but at least memory is important for us. And also, how to be critical people, so that whatever we are doing is not necessarily in the wrong thing, And then second one is emotion. When I call emotion, sweet emotion. What you mean by sweet emotion? If you are having a date with your fiancé, then you have what I call it sweet emotion. But if you are angry, then you have what I call it apa ya pahit itu ya? What is this? Bitter, huh? Bitter emotion, When you are angry, you are stressed, you are processing, This means you have what I call it a bitter emotion. Then, bitter emotion is going to spot you to die early. Yeah, so if you like to die early, please, every day you must be angry, you must be stressed, you must be processing and whatsoever. And then the energy, I call it energy, is how to use your potential. Everybody has the same brain, what I call it, brain cell, about 100 billion or no billion. But why some people are called to be, more intellectual and the others are not, Well, actually, we have the same, what I call it, cells or brain cell, but the difference is how to use the brain. So not everybody using the potential 100%, but sometimes people only using the brain only 20% or so. So when you die, your brain is very expensive because you only use 20%. So the rest of 80% you can sell to the market. This is the thing. And then smart mind, again, I already tell you before, how to be people who is, higher order thinking, deep thinking, long-range thinking, multiple intelligent thinking, broad thinking, ecologic thinking, and then, cosmic or comprehensive or inclusive thinking, and then also system thinking, This I copied from the old books, but I think this is still very relevant from Professor Carey. It was written in 1966, but if you look at this, nothing is separate, always interdependent. When we are thinking about higher education, you cannot forget the economy, you cannot forget the politics, you cannot forget social culture and technology advancement, whatsoever, And then sweet emotion, I told you before, there are many things. If I wrote it, I have roughly about 40 sweet emotion. When I give a speech in everywhere, I have it. This is what I call it sweet emotion. And the first one is strong will. You cannot will what you will, but you cannot will what you do. This is what I call it. You cannot will what you will, but you cannot will what you do. You know what I mean? You can expect something if you are doing, if you do it. But if you don't do it, no way. You cannot will what you will, but only you can will what you do. This internal motivation, high curiosity, wanting to learn, not I want to learn. When I have, I have children were very later, I don't want you to learn. No, I want you to want to learn. This means that, we'll create what I call it high curiosity. Whenever your children, learn not because of you force them, then I call it curiosity, because they want to learn. Yeah. Okay. Ethos of excellence, truth seeker. This is sweet emotion, and then energy, physical health. I'm already 74 years, but every morning I run about 35 minutes every morning. And that's why I challenge all professors in UNJ, UNY, who is going to compete me to run? Nobody answer. I know that maybe I can beat them. Every morning, at least 35 minutes, at least. physical health, using energy effectively, using energy efficiently, deliberate effort, and then, doing the best. If you would like to be the best people, do the best, and I do believe the best will follow. And others, of course, I do not want to talk on. This is human quality required by the 21st century. I actually, I wrote it about 20 years ago, actually, but I still, use it as long as nobody argue me, If there is somebody who can blame me about my writing, I will, change it. But up to now, nobody, challenge me. Basically, human quality is about basic quality, instrumental quality, and then nationalism quality, and then global quality. I can talk of this one a lot, because I did it in 20 years ago. But basically, this is basic quality. I mean, thinking skill, personal quality, physical health. This is basic, And then, that instrumental quality is changing all the time, with the science, technology, art, sport, and then as a citizenship, we have to love our nation. And then, right now we are living in a global village. Then no choice, we have to have a good, strong cooperation with other people from other countries. That is human multiple intelligence required by the 21st century that I identified about 2 years ago, I don't want to read it all, but at least, you have to have a strong intellectual quotient, emotional quotient, spiritual quotient, collective quotient, love quotient, moral and ethical quotient, aesthetical quotient, kinesthetical quotient, passion quotient, and curiosity. So this is a culture. What is culture? Culture is basically a subsum of the elements of the culture. When we are discussing about the culture, a lot of subjective, opinions, simply because this culture is abstract, Whenever we are discussing about subjectivity, it's very difficult for us to have agreement, But at least, this is culture, artifact, ideas, discourse, values, behavior, etc. Higher education, culture. I don't want to take all, but you can see it. This is about the culture of higher education. I mean, it's not only on the list, but you can develop more. But at least I, give you some example that this is about higher education culture. Truthfulness, morality, rationality, ideas, argument, not sentiment, etc. Yeah. Cosmic, I like this one. Cosmic is how to think comprehensively, inclusively, worldwidely, not limited identity. And that's why I don't want to be in a certain organization, because I will limit my identity whenever somebody else identity, they don't like me. So I don't want to. Why in Tamansiswa? Well, Tamansiswa is national identity, not religious identity, not, but anyway. Actually, change initiative in education is quite long. For example, UNESCO, then I like this one, Professor Clayton Christensen, they developed a theory, what you call it, is sustaining and disruptive innovation, but sometimes people make mistake in translating this one. I follow him in YouTube, Right now, you don't need to buy the books. So right now, my time, at least 2 hours or even 3 hours, is listening to YouTube, but usually very selected university, or for example, Harvard, MIT, and then Osborne about human rights, but about economy, I try to follow the YouTube from the World Economic Forum. That's very good, yeah. Well, again, I don't want to read it all, but this is a history of development in higher education, yeah. And the last one, of course, World Economic Forum in Davos, I try to follow, 3 times actually. I would like to identify what kind of job in the future, but this one will have a strong implication to education, This is the core of my presentation actually. We have to think about our higher education paradigm from the past to the future. Let's say from competency based to capability. I don't like competency because competency is the ability to do something. If something is already obsolete, so what? And that's why I change capability, not competencies. Well, I can read it more and more, but also the thing that I like it, what it is about making money, there are many people who are very expertise in the subject matter, but they cannot monetize the expertise. So this is very important for us in higher education. Let's teach how to monetize the expertise. Not only excellent in expertise, but how to monetize the expertise so that they can make money, not getting money. Not to get money, but to make money. That's different. To get money, this means that you are employees. But if you make money, you are the manager. I mean, let's teach our children so that they can make money, not to get the money. Yeah. Well, this is the last one. The last what it is? Last my presentation. Actually, there are about 14 or whatever, but I don't know whether I should read it or not, but at least what kind of role that you would like to play in the future. Whether you would like to be, educator, scientist, scholar, technocrat, entrepreneur, consultant, politician, whatsoever, whistleblower. Then what kind of capability that you should have so that you can play the role that you already choose, And then, what kind of subject matter, I mean, what to teach, Curriculum is about what to teach. What to teach so that our children, our youngster, our youth are able to achieve the capability. Method, how to learn. How to learn right now is very, very complicated now. I try to follow, let's say, Harvard. They are also already using MOOCs. MIT, MOOCs, massive open online courses. Even right now, they use internet-based learning. It's already very cheap, but very effective for those who are knowledgeable in internet. Student assessment, how to assess the student, where to learn, not necessarily right now. Smartphone do not need space, but certain subjects still require space. And then when to learn, no problem. When you are using smartphone, you can learn this morning, today or tonight. And then also where to learn, it doesn't matter whether you would like to learn in bed, in the bathroom or in dining room. And then who teach? Not necessarily always teachers. Who can teach right now? Many learning resources can be used, for example, businessmen, workplace, successful people. Okay. With what facilities students can learn? Relevant and updated facilities can be used to learn by students, such as internet, labs. How long should students learn? Well, no problem. When you are using smartphone, you can. Not like this, This is a conventional class where I'm teaching 2 hours, all of them the same, But when we are using smartphone, maybe I learn 2 hours, but maybe you only 1 hour. This is very advanced technology right now. Finance, who pays how much for what? This is about funding formula for public and private higher education institutions. Governance, with the rapid development of technologies, how to govern, to manage, to lead higher education in learning. I predict in the future, management can be replaced by artificial intelligence as long as you have a complete data, not human being. Just have complete data and give over to the artificial intelligence. They will produce a very good strategic planning, And then services, what kind of excellent services quality to offer to students in order to support the learning activities excellently. And I think the last one, this one, future higher education due to merger of technology and globalization, hyper-connected world, and interdependency. So what kind of schooling in the future? I don't know exactly, but I do believe face-to-face is going to be reduced significantly in the future. And of course, when technology is going to play in our classroom, then due to advanced technology, should modularization and customization of learning replace educators for a certain subject matter, not all. Okay, thank you very much, and this is my epilogue. Basically, the future challenges of higher education development are multifold, but one urgent thing is about redefining the concept of higher education for the future ready, and that new paradigm shift of higher education must be agreed upon. At this point, higher education institutions must be able to restructure, revigorate, and reculture to confront the challenges of 21st century. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Bapak Slamet, for the revealing presentations. One thing that I noticed from your presentations, and when I correlate this with one of Ki Hajar Dewantara teaching, that everyone is a teacher, and we can learn from everyone, and also we can learn everywhere. It's just like what you mentioned on the last slide, that we can learn not only in the classroom but outside. That's very interesting, Bapak. Okay, now we are approaching to the second subsessions of this plenary session, that is question answer sessions. So now I would like to invite three first questions from the participants. You may type, or you can lock your questions on the chat box, or you may raise your hand using the raise hand features on your Zoom. And for these sessions, I would like to call again our all plenary session speaker, Mr. Bapak Muhammad Hasbi, and then Mr. Azari, Mr. Krit Sachai, Miss Shirley, and now we also have Pak Slamet. Okay, maybe the operator, would you please to pin all the speakers? Yeah. Okay. Is there any questions from the participants? Okay, maybe while waiting for other to type or maybe raise hand on the on the Zoom features, Bapak Hasbi, actually I have questions, but this is just in my idea. Bapak Hasbi, is it possible if I ask in English, or do you prefer in Bahasa?
I prefer in Bahasa, please.
Oh, okay, Bahasa. Nice. Bapak, pada zaman dahulu kala ketika saya kuliah di Australia itu, saya mengikuti salah satu program dari embassy, dari Indonesian Embassy dengan kementerian di Australia. Nah, di situ ada satu program yang namanya National Program of Teaching Languages, Asian Languages and Studies into Schools. Jadi mengajarkan bahasa ASEAN itu ke sekolah-sekolah. Dan pada saat itu yang memanage adalah Bapak Aris Junaidi yang sekarang jadi direktur di LLDikti Jogja. Nah, students yang dari Indonesia itu dikirim ke beberapa sekolah yang ada di Australia, tidak hanya di Capital Territory tetapi di semua distrik yang ada di Australia. Nah, di situ yang saya pelajari adalah mereka mengajarkan language, tetapi bukan merely the language yang akan diajarkan, tetapi culture, budayanya. Nah, saya ingin bertanya nih Pak, mungkin nggak sih, bukan bertanya ya, ya sama deh bertanya, mungkin nggak sih Pak, kalau program kampus mengajar yang di MBKM itu juga ada nih semacam program teaching English untuk early learners, jadi diajarkan dari SD, tidak langsung di SMP, karena kalau langsung di SMP itu kadang student sudah mengalami banyak vocalization, terutama di vocalization of ketika mereka mengucapkan atau pronounce something in English itu akan sulit. Nah itu kemungkinan bisa nggak sih Pak? Karena sebelumnya saya juga mengikuti kampus mengajar perintis, kampus mengajar batch 1, batch 2, itu saya coba untuk ke sekolah, sekolahnya senang, studentnya juga senang, but if there is no policy from the government, itu akan sulit sekali. Begitu Bapak, terima kasih.
Oke, terima kasih pertanyaannya. Saya ingin menjawab pertanyaan yang pertama, bahwa dalam skema kebijakan Merdeka Belajar, sebenarnya ada satu tujuan utama yang ingin dicapai, yaitu bagaimana menginternalisasi profil pelajar Pancasila untuk setiap peserta didik. Visi pendidikan yang kita telah tetapkan di tahun 2020-2024 adalah mewujudkan Indonesia maju yang mandiri, berdaulat dan berkepribadian berlandaskan profil pelajar Pancasila. Nah, salah satu dari 6 profil itu adalah berkebinekaan global. Apa artinya? Artinya bagaimana setiap peserta didik mulai dari jenjang PAUD sampai ke jenjang pendidikan tinggi menyadari bahwa mereka adalah bagian dari keragaman nasional, kebinekaan nasional, dan juga sekaligus menjadi bagian dari kebinekaan global. Jadi apa yang terjadi ketika misalnya pelajar-pelajar kita mengajarkan bahasa ke sekolah-sekolah di negara lain, itu adalah merupakan bagian dari kesadaran bahwa kita harus mempromosikan kebinekaan kita baik di tingkat nasional maupun di tingkat global. Nah, terkait dengan pengajaran Inggris, subjek bahasa Inggris di tingkat jenjang pendidikan dasar, khususnya di SD, ini telah menjadi concern dari Menteri Pendidikan Kebudayaan, Riset dan Teknologi Pak Nadiem, dan telah ada beberapa diskusi untuk membahas mengenai hal ini. Jadi beliau sangat aware bahwa ini adalah merupakan upaya untuk memastikan bahwa peserta didik kita mulai dari jenjang yang paling dasar, early learners, memiliki kecakapan yang dibutuhkan untuk menjadi manusia-manusia yang mampu berkompetisi di tingkat global pada saat mereka besar nanti. Jadi insya Allah ini telah menjadi concern dari Pak Nadiem untuk membuat hal ini menjadi kenyataan di jenjang pendidikan yang lebih awal. Terima kasih Mbak Moderator.
Alhamdulillah, we are waiting Bapak. Kami sangat menunggu ini.
Sure.
Karena ya itu akan membawa banyak dampak kalau menurut saya. Jadi students tidak hanya belajar dari YouTube saja, mungkin jadi kayak anak saya, jadi pinginnya YouTuber dan dia pick up languages itu dari YouTube. Tetapi kalau di formal nanti akan menarik begitu loh. That's maybe from Malaysia. Di Malaysia itu dari foreign language kemudian jadi dari second kemudian foreign dan sekarang jadi second language, itu kan mungkin bisa jadi sedikit model. Dan di Philippines English is also second language. Am I right, Shirley? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe I want to know a little bit from Bapak Azhari. Bapak Azhari, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Bapak Azhari, would you please to little bit share about the policy of language in Malaysia as the second language now?
Yeah, actually, English is a second language. But right now, our government policy right now want to highlight that Bahasa Melayu is the main language. So when they got an international conference, the minister would use Bahasa Melayu as their first language to represent their language or speech. For me, before this, I'm studying in Melbourne. Before I went there, I thought that I will polish up my English. But when I'm over there, I'm known very few Indonesian over there near the Kongen there, Indonesian consulate. They call it Kongen.
Yeah.
And then I found that I learned more Indonesian language compared to English.
Thank you.
Because in Melbourne during 2007, I think many of Indonesians there studying. And then when we are during our Jumaat prayer, we'll go to Kongen because during that days, Malaysian government still don't have a mosque to perform Jumaat prayer. So we go to Kongen near the Melbourne over there, the Kongen Indonesian consulate. And then we gathering around after prayers, chatting with fellow Indonesian over there. And then suddenly the culture, the language is not so become a big barrier.
Yeah.
So if you talk Malaysian, most of the Western or Australian people over there, we call it boleh, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So they know that Indonesian language. So when I ask, where do you learn it? I learned it from Bali. They spend a lot of time in Bali.
I
So
see.
the culture of Indonesian language, Malaysian language is not far different. We are from Serumpun, so it's not so much different. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So it's a little bit, only little differences between the Indonesian or Bahasa and Malay. Okay, thank you, Bapak. And now I would like to read questions from the chat box from Bapak Reza Bayu. I think, Bapak, you may directly ask to the speaker. That's questions delivered to Bapak Slamet.
Okay, thank you, Bu Ima. Actually, that question is from Bapak Faik, but I have my own question. Right after my own question, you can read from the comment box. If it's okay? Okay. I would like to raise question to Dr. Azari and Dr. Shirley. It's true that technological development has been growing rapidly today, and it enables the way we learn from any materials. Like Professor Slamet mentioned before, we can learn from YouTube, for example. And I have another example. I had experience that my students master advanced computational skill from YouTube, from online platform free. And also we can find that in Indonesia, a YouTuber with millions of fans master various languages from YouTube without attending formal education. So I think this issue also happens in Malaysia and in the Philippines. So my question is, how do the authorities in your countries provide a space to this informal education? Thank you, Bu Ima.
Okay, thank you, Bapak Reza. Ms. Shirley, do you want to respond to the questions first?
Yes, thank you very much, and thank you for that beautiful question. It's all about informal education. In higher education, we have a structured form of education, and the accessibility of available other knowledge in the Google, like the languages, is an added opportunity for our students. So we don't have a policy to control them, because this is one way of preparing them to become globally competitive. But in the university, we in the Philippines foremost, we use English as the medium of instruction across level, from basic to secondary to tertiary. But in the basic education, there is that part of the system that a certain subject like culture, values, and part of the basic sciences will be taught in our native language. But in higher education, it is a part and parcel of the curriculum of all degree program in the mastery of the English. And in MMSU, we support, in addition to the prescribed curriculum by the Commission on Higher Education, we put English 101 in the higher level of our students across program, be it in agriculture, engineering, health sciences, tourism, hospitality management. Part of their elective is English 101. So that because English has become the international medium in the global world, of course we have French, we have Spanish, we have Japanese, we have Chinese, and that is already their own initiative because we don't offer them. So in support to this English 101, we established in the university the English Language Center. The English Language Center, where we cater our students and at the same time our partners. Our part like Indonesia, coming from Japan, coming from China, we offer online English capacity building to our students and to also our non-students as well. So that's how we manage the English proficiency of our students in the university and in the Philippines.
Okay, thank you. That's nice. So, still, we need to, it's like, have a look again at our curriculum, right? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Pak Azari, would you please to respond? The same questions, but maybe you have a different response as Miss Shirley. Go on.
I agree with that. That some of the people or learn a new subject, learn English from YouTube, etc. So there is not a formal education. Nowadays, in Malaysia, in higher institutions, we develop micro-credential learning. We develop more that use English, whereas students can learn about certain subjects, especially maybe English, and then through YouTube, through online learning. And then I think in the near future, maybe there's no need for lecturer to do a class like that. Maybe the job of this task will given to the instructor to handle this online learning, because the job of lecturer right now is really being heavy with the other things. For example, have to do research, at one time have to do publication. And then the job of using micro-credential learning or more is like an online learner, whereas maybe some of the learners can learn during the learn online learning, and then maybe the specific task or specific curriculum can be developed. So these learners will have a specific certificate if they are passing certain courses online. So it will become a trend. Yeah.
Nice. That's quite similar. I'm curious with something that maybe we can manage in the global context. So still quite still the same issues, but I would like to listen little bit from Mr. Kritsachai, because CMU actually has, it's like teacher, C teacher, in which the students from Asians can move to other countries so that they can pick up the language and also pick up the cultures in the targeted country. Do you have any do you have any idea how to improve more than only the C teacher program, Bapak? Thank you.
Well, Thank you so much for the questions. As you mentioned, C teacher and C TUET. Well, in the program, it's of the C teacher and the C TUET. It's all go beyond exchange of the teacher, because we have C TUET and we also have start to have student exchange. We have our own the AIMS program with the exchange of the higher education students also. So within the senior network, we established a lot of exchanges program that student and teacher can develop their capacity, can go to the other countries to exchange ideas, learn about the cultural in other countries as well. Well, but during the pandemic, there's the problem that happens. Also, we cannot send the student across the country to other countries. So during the pandemic, we developed virtual exchange. So students can explore, can join the program and do a virtual exchange without going to the other country, but they can connect, they can communicate, they can study, they can learn from other university, other school from different countries. And the concept of the virtual exchange is to keep on developing, because we are thinking that the exchange could be a blended mode. So in the future, we can let the student join the virtual exchange first, so they can learn from each other, they can learn the language, they can learn the culture, they can be the community before being there in person to join with the actual exchange. So the concept of the exchange still keep on developing. We're exploring with more technology. We're exploring with all the concept of the socializations and the psychology as well. So I believe that with the exchange program, our students can further enhance their capacity, enhance their connection, and become more of the awareness of the global issue and all the other value in other countries as well.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, nice. Thank you, Bapak. So still quite similar. Yeah, we allow students to have the exchange of the cultures, including the technology. I'm also still remember when Pa Slamet talk about the human quality, Bapak. When you talk about the human quality, you divide into four. Yeah, basic, instrumental, and then the nationalism, and then the last, global. Nah, Bapak, I just want to know what's your perspective regarding to the language and the globalization, or the global scope on your human quality.
Well, obviously, if we are living in the global era, there's no choice that we have to learn other languages. That's the point, my point. Of course, not all languages we can master it, but at least those languages that are probably used by most people in the world, and then we have to learn it. For example, English. And then, what else? And in addition to English, I don't know exactly, I know only English, but in global era right now, the Chinese language is going to grow up, So whether we realize or not, but the rise of Chinese language is going to spread everywhere right now. Because I believe that Chinese in the next 10 years or 15 years is going to be a powerful country. You can see it. Every country, they have a Chinese town.
Yes, that's true.
Every country, even in England and the USA and Australia, whatsoever, I always come to Chinese town simply because I eat it,
Yeah, that's true.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Bapak. Okay, now I would like to move to the question from the chat box. That's from Faik. Faik, is it possible if you directly ask on the Zoom, or I just read from the chat box? This is For the esteemed Professor Slamet, what is the college strategy in preparing the best graduates while the curriculum changes frequently? That's for you.
Well, if change want to set up change, that's useless. When you would like to do something to change, then you have to see around you. We have to realize that the university, your higher education institution, exists simply because we would like to serve to the society. This means if we would like to change higher education institution, then we have to learn what is going on in society. What I call it, whether you like or not, but higher education institution must apply what you call it manpower planning, or you call it demand driven, not supply driven. Supply driven is basically education is offered by that university that may be useless. But then when we are talking about demand driven, what we are teaching to our students must be link and match with their reality. What I mean reality is the world of work. This means that higher education has no choice, that we have to have link and match with the world of work efficiently, effectively, so that we are in the same language. Otherwise, well, we are in higher education, we feel that we are offering something useful, but in reality, maybe the world of work does not like it, So this means that again, link and match between higher education and the world of work, in general, society must be must be created by both of us, higher education as well as the world of work. Yes.
Nice, Bapak. When you say link and match with the word of work, do you think that MBKM now is? Do you think that MBKM now linked to that concept?
Well, frankly speaking, is what it is. Tidak berbentuk apa ya? What was this? No, this is what I call it.
Abstract. No.
Unformed, I agree that the Ministry of Education must support our school,
Yes.
University, to have link and match with the world of work. But then, we have challenges how to create the system so that the link and match is, is a real thing that probably both of them are accepting it, Otherwise, if let's you go to the world of work whatsoever you want, then well, there is no clear direction about what is meant by link and match, I think the Minister of Education should develop what I call a system link and match, so that the student, whenever they would like to take some courses other than in the campus, then it's very clearly directed to the profession that they are dealing with, Yeah. Otherwise, like now, tidak berbentuk. You can go to everywhere, it's unrelated to your study program. Then, well, it's not real. For me, this we have to make a system of link and match, so that when graduate from the university is, the graduate is really demanded by the world of work. Otherwise, we have what it is? I don't know exactly in English, but that's just tidak berbentuk.
Unformed, unstructured.
Maybe unstructured,
Unstructured.
So again, I am basically sorry, I basically agree with the minister, but the Minister of Education and Culture and Research and Technology must develop a system agreed upon by the educational institution and the world of work. Otherwise, we let the student go everywhere without any
Direction.
clear purposes. This is the problem that we are facing right now. That's okay, but at least we have to technically develop this kind of thing. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, thank you. To make it balanced, I would like to ask Bapak Muhammad Hasbi. Bapak, tadi kita berbicara sedikit nih tentang link and match dari what is that, kurikulum kita dengan workplace, dengan tempat kerja nih. Nah, tadi sudah disampaikan oleh Bapak Slamet bagaimana respons beliau. Nah, sekarang kalau dari Bapak nih, responnya dari sisi government, bagaimana Bapak? Maaf, Bapak masih mute.
Sorry.
Ya, that's it.
I'm sorry. Saya sangat mengapresiasi apa yang disampaikan oleh Profesor Slamet mengenai konsep link and match. Dan saya pikir kalau kita melihat sejarah kebijakan di Kemendikbudristek selama 10 tahun terakhir, belum pernah ada upaya semasif yang kita laksanakan saat ini untuk mengimplementasikan link and match itu dalam konteks pendidikan. Nah, sampai-sampai Kemendikbud membuat Direktorat Jenderal sendiri yang disebut Direktorat Jenderal Pendidikan Vokasi sebagai upaya untuk mengadres persoalan link and match itu. Nah, link and match tidak hanya yang terkait dengan bagaimana produk perguruan tinggi kemudian bisa memperoleh pekerjaan di luar, tetapi juga kita mulai dari bagaimana lulusan SMK kemudian mampu mendapatkan pekerjaan sesuai dengan bidang keahliannya. Nah, tentu dibutuhkan proses untuk itu. Link and match bukanlah sebuah hal yang bisa diwujudkan sebagai mimpi semalam, tapi diperlukan berbagai keterlibatan governance dan berbagai sektor untuk mewujudkan hal itu. Tetapi bisa saya sampaikan bahwa di masa Pak Menteri yang sekarang ini, Pak Nadiem Makarim, ini adalah upaya yang sangat masif, terobosan yang sangat besar untuk mewujudkan konsep link and match itu. Kemudian yang kedua tadi terkait dengan bagaimana kemudian mahasiswa didorong untuk mulai mengenali apa yang akan mereka lakukan setelah mereka selesai. Nah, kita juga memiliki sebuah program yang disebut Kampus Merdeka. Nah, Kampus Merdeka ini salah satu kebijakannya adalah bagaimana mendorong mahasiswa untuk mengambil 40 SKS di luar jurusan yang mereka tempuh. Nah, apa gunanya untuk memberi mereka pengalaman mengenai hal lain yang berada di luar jurusannya, sehingga pandangan mereka, wawasan mereka menjadi semakin luas ke depan sebelum mereka selesai. Demikian Mbak Moderator.
Oke, terima kasih Bapak. Oh, Bapak ingin menyambung?
Iya.
Monggo.
Ya, kita sharing pandangan ya Pak Hasbi ya.
Monggo Prof.
Saya ini di kementerian hampir 20 tahun, yaitu zaman Pak Wardiman. Pada waktu itulah dikenalkan apa yang disebut dengan kebijakan link and match waktu itu. Kemudian diterjemahkan dalam bentuk itu buku yang I'm sorry, I'm speaking in Indonesian for those who are from the Philippines, please.
I can
sorry.
follow you.
Yes, sorry. Sehingga waktu itu sudah ada sebagai policy-nya Skill Toward 2020, keterampilan menjelang 2020. Kemudian itu diterjemahkan yang bentuk konkret sekali, yaitu adalah penyelenggaraan sistem ganda, kemudian magang-magang dan sebagainya. Bahkan kita sudah punya peraturan bersama dengan Kadin, yaitu adalah bagaimana dunia kerja itu betul-betul secara formal itu mau bekerjasama dengan dunia pendidikan, tidak hanya volunteer atau istilahnya tidak hanya sukarela gitu loh. Kita ini kan ya Pak Hasbi ya, kita itu menyiapkan anak-anak kita yang membiayai, mereka yang menemu saja gitu loh. Seharusnya mereka itu merasa dosa dong tidak ikut mendidik anak-anak kita yang membiayai akhirnya lulus untuk mereka ya gitu ya. Nah, sebenarnya dulu sudah rintisan sampai konkret sekali, cuma biasalah kita kalau ganti kebijakan, ganti menteri, ganti kebijakan, karena apa? Aku sudah mengalami 10 menteri Pak, timbul tenggelam gitu, karena apa? We don't have any strong system Pak, kita tidak punya sistem yang kokoh, sehingga kalau tidak ada sistem yang kokoh ya beliaunya yang datang akan menafsirkan sesuai dengan kemampuannya kan begitu kan, kita tidak bisa menyalahkan juga tidak ada strong system. Maka mungkin begini Pak Hasbi, Bapak yang di pusat ya, tolonglah Pak dibangun sistem yang kokoh, yaitu sistem yang menjamin kepastian, yang menjamin keadilan, dan yang menjamin kemanfaatan untuk pendidikan kita ini. Saya jamin kreasi-kreasi dari menteri aku juga anu kok Pak, bukan kok nyalahkan, ndak, aku apresiasi kok. Cuma ini perlu dibuat sistem yang baik itu Pak, jangan sampai nanti 3 semester silahkan malah penjelasan Pak Menteri nggak ada hubungannya dengan prodi lah, piye toh Pak Menteri. Ya, saya pribadi ya nggak begitulah, kita mesti semuanya itu harus interdependen ya, tidak mungkin lah saya buat sambal dicampuri es itu, enggak lah. Ya, tapi kira-kira itu Pak Hasbi ya, saya seneng ini diskusi di begini. Ini kalau perbedaan pendapat nggak apa-apa ya Pak ya, kita ini negara ini kalau tidak dibolehkan beda pendapat akan hancur. Tetapi apakah dengan perbedaan pendapat akan hancur? Tidak kan gitu ya?
Iya. Oke.
Masih Pak.
Nggih, matur nuwun Bapak. Yeah, thank you. Because of the restricted time, I would like to move to the next question that's from the chat box. Questions to the second, third, and fourth speakers. So it is for Bapak Asyari, and then for Mr. Krit Sachai, and for Miss Shirley. So the question is, what trends of research do you think for the future, both tangible and intangible discussion? Share please your best practice regarding human literacy research in your country or institution, university. We wonder, collaborative research with your prominent institution or university. This is from Ibu Yuyun Julia. I believe many of you know this. No, Ibu Yuyun. Okay. Please, Pak Azari first.
Okay, thank you. According to the questions, I would like to respond. After the post-pandemic COVID-19, most of our research are concentrating more on like matching grants. So we got a lot of proposals to do matching grants between international universities, especially from Indonesia, Thailand, because there's a need for a collaborative research that's been done and must done to know what is the suitable issues or that can be solved together. So the point is, most of the research is want to know whether there is a significant area that we need to collaborate, or that there is a lot of change amongst our country. So most of the research that we're practicing now are using online survey. So there is much positive effects. So like conference today, like we held for today, I think before COVID-19, there is difficult to be organized or difficult to what they call it, to do or to organize. So, but after COVID and during the COVID, it become a normal. So, like research nowadays, the concentration on this type of using digital information, digital platform is really actively using or actively being converted into the research. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bapak Asari, and then now move to.
Can I answer now?
Yeah. Go on. You may.
Because I live in Tucson. I'm living Tucson. I have next speaking engagement. Yeah,
Okay.
that is a very good question. Truly, according to Ashari, Dr. Ashari, after the pandemic has taught us so many things to be perseverance and resilient. And in the Philippines, in MMSU in particular, we give focus to researches that address the Sustainable Development Plan. First is the education. So with the pandemic, we need to intensify our flexible learning system because we can no longer go back to the old normal. All things that we do now are dedicated in increasing the efficiency, effectivity of our online system. And as I have presented a while ago, our information technology team are so strong and becoming stronger to ensure that whatever happens in the future, then flexible learning is in place. Another focus of research that we are conducting here is dedicated on health. Because of the increasing cost of medicine for common illnesses and other major diseases, the university is engaged into drug development research. And in order to be more impactful to the community, we make use of the natural resources around us. We involve so much the IP people, indigenous people, in searching, in making their traditional plant into more scientific one, and we are actively doing that. Another one is a very important topic of research around the world that is addressing SDG 1, that is poverty. So we are so much inclined in doing research in agriculture. And the last research banner that we are doing is energy, because we want to address SDG 14, which is clean and sustainable energy. Now, all these major 4 researches that we are doing in the university is embedded in the Industrial Revolution 4.0 skills. So yes, we are open for collaboration. As I mentioned, we are one of our major banner program in research, extension, and academe is the renewable energy, because we have the National Bioenergy Research and Innovation Center, and we offer the Professional Science Masters in Renewable Energy and Engineering. We are open for collaboration, and if there's one country that I want to visit soon, is Malaysia and Indonesia, because I've seen the world, but I have not seen Indonesia and Malaysia yet. So
welcome.
I'm willing to give lectures on all of this because we really want to strengthen our partnership within our SAM community. Thank you very much for having me here.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Shirley. Okay, thank you. And then now, Mr. Krit Sachai, would you please to respond to that questions?
Sure, thank you so much. Well, I would like to echo both Dr. Ashe here and the President Shirley on the importance of the research in the area that both of them mentioned earlier. But I would like to add one more research stream that's becoming significant in lately. It's the policy research. Because policy is something that have impact for the whole country and all the students in the country. So we at CIMIO, we are focusing on finding a evidence-based policy research that's focused on finding concrete evidence that would help inform policymakers that this kind of intervention would be possible. This kind of intervention will make it useful in the certain cultural context. So because sometimes we bring in the intervention from the other side of the world, and the intervention won't match with the context that we have in Southeast Asia. So this kind of a policy research is important. So we can assess the intervention, can assess the different methodology, and then we can use that evidence to inform policymakers to make policy decisions that would impact the whole country. So policy research is one of the important. I would like to encourage all the researchers to take a look at, and well, that would be very helpful, and CIMIO would be willing to collaborate with all of you in terms of the policy research. And for President Shirley, you are welcome to Thailand as well.
Yeah. Okay, nice. Okay, thank you. So policy research, that's very interesting. Okay, thank you, Bapak. And then now
Sorry, I visited Thailand already, and we have so many partners also there.
Ah, I see.
You're still welcome, girl.
Okay, thank you. And then now I would like to move to the next question from the chat box. Are there specific strategies from the government in Malaysia, Thailand, and Philippines to transform English language status from foreign language to second language. How about the government of Indonesia? Is there any intention from Indonesia government to have the same transformation through its language policy? I think we have already discussed this, if I'm not right. Yeah. Okay, so that's from Susanto. So I will leave it these questions because actually we have already discussed this. And then next that's from Aiko Keinara. Aiko Keinara. In the independent curriculum, English is leveled up to become the compulsory subject. But in reality, in elementary school, there are rarely English teachers. So what the solution, considering what not all the teachers in primary school are not competent in English? Seems that this is the Indonesian context, if I'm not.
Can I answer that?
Okay, Shirley, go on.
Yeah, this is where collaboration comes in. That we will capitalize on the strength of one partner to upgrade the weakness of the other partner. And as I've mentioned, we have the English Language Center in the university, and we have started offering a English skills enhancement, and we issue certificate. So we will start strengthening our collaboration so that all together we will raise the bar of English efficiency.
Okay, so partnership or collaboration. That is why when the first sessions of the question answer, I offered this also to Bapak Muhammad Hasbi, how if we also do the collaboration so with the MBKM program, so that the collaboration can be shaped through this program. Maybe Bapak Hasbi, do you want to respond this?
Yes. Saya akan menjawab dengan sebuah contoh.
Ya.
Saya memiliki anak SMP yang baru saja lulus dari SMP, itu umur 12 tahun. Sekolahnya tidak memiliki subjek tertentu mengenai bahasa Korea dan bahasa Inggris, tetapi anak saya menguasai keduanya setelah dia lulus di SMP. Nah, apa yang dilakukan oleh sekolah adalah berupaya untuk membawa kedua bahasa itu menjadi kegiatan ekstrakurikuler. Jadi, prinsip Merdeka Belajar adalah memberi keleluasaan kepada ekosistem pendidikan untuk menentukan bagaimana proses pendidikan itu akan dilakukan, sehingga mampu membekali peserta didik dengan kompetensi yang diperlukan, baik itu kompetensi esensial maupun pengembangan karakter, termasuk pengembangan bahasa, untuk menjadi SDM yang kompetitif. Jadi persoalan ini sebenarnya tidak selalu harus diselesaikan secara structurized, tetapi bisa diselesaikan oleh ekosistem pendidikan itu sendiri. Bagaimana contohnya misalnya sekolah anak saya itu membawa guru bahasa Inggris yang kompeten, kemudian guru bahasa Korea yang kompeten ke dalam kelas mereka, dan mereka tidak menjadi guru yang structurized di sana, tidak menjadi guru tetap, tetapi kemampuan dari ekosistem pendidikan yang ada di sekolah itu untuk melihat apa yang diperlukan oleh anak ini, apa yang menjadi kegemarannya, sehingga bisa menyalurkan itu dalam bentuk ekstrakurikuler misalnya. Jadi kebijakan Merdeka Belajar tidak mengunci bahwa semuanya harus dilakukan dengan structurized, tetapi tentu Kementerian Pendidikan punya visi untuk itu. Misalnya bagaimana mengatasi kekurangan guru. Nah, sekarang kita memiliki program 1 juta guru, mengangkat 1 juta guru menjadi pegawai dengan perjanjian kerja atau P3K. Nah, ini adalah upaya kita secara structurized untuk memenuhi kekurangan guru yang ada di seluruh Indonesia melalui platform kerjasama antara pemerintah pusat dan pemerintah daerah. Tetapi itu tidak boleh dibatasi sampai di situ. Kita harus memberi definisi yang seluas-luasnya kepada kebijakan Merdeka Belajar agar ekosistem pendidikan bisa berdaya untuk menyelesaikan permasalahan pendidikan di satuan pendidikan. Saya pikir itu jawabannya. Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you, Bapak. So, comprehensive answers. Okay, now I would like to move to next from Semio Nitiak. Excellent Dr. Kritsachai. Intercultural collaboration is important in this era of globalization, at the same time upholding one's culture. Yeah, this is only the response from the presentations, and greeting from Indonesia. And then next from Dr. Ravinda Kumar Sharma from India. Greeting from Indonesia. Excellence, Dr. Krit Sachai. Very informative and progressive discussions. And then next from Ines. Yeah, that's congratulations for all. And I have one questions which was delivered privately from Bapak Rusnoto Susanto. Dear Professor Ashari, how are you? You may answer now. Fine, thank you. And you? Okay.
Fine, good.
Nice, okay. Best wishes always from Yogyakarta. Alhamdulillah, because the COVID-19 outbreak is sliding down and chart and it's spreading generally in the world. Of course, at the time, he encountered various problems, especially for the reka bentuk, seni halus, animation. Anyway, do you know these terms, Bapak Ashari?
Yes.
I see.
Reka bentuk means all the designs. I think Bapak Susanto is from fine art, I think.
You know each other, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. What else? What are the lessons learned from the Malaysian kingdom during the COVID-19 pandemic, and how is the kingdom dealing with the current new customs period? Best regards from Bapak Rusnoto Susanto. You are friends. Okay, go on, Bapak.
Well, may I answer that question? In terms of design or art area, during the pandemic, we are really in a trouble. For example, if you want to make an artwork, how you can display? We can display in gallery, so people will come in. But during the pandemic, all the lockdown, people will not come, and then people will not buy our painting, and then will not appreciate our art. So that when we come the virtual gallery. So the virtual gallery will set up to support this in this time of pandemic. So this culture, I think, will strengthen all the area that sometimes are really important and really difficult to attend. For example, like our conference right now, people or presenter for all around the world can come into just in one screen and then can share out their thoughts and then can share their experience just by online. So it goes the same during the pandemic in art and design. So the thing is, the technology will help us getting nearer so far and strengthen our works and togetherness. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much Pak Ashari. And then next, terima kasih Profesor Slamet dan Pak Muhammad Hasbi. Saat ini pendidikan tinggi dimasukkan ke dalam lingkungan Kementerian Pendidikan dan Kebudayaan, yang sebelumnya pendidikan tinggi ada dalam Kementerian Ristek Dikti. Apakah ini akibat kurangnya sistem yang kokoh yang disebutkan Prof. Slamet dalam pendidikan kita? Mengapa di Indonesia sering terjadi beda, menteri pendidikan beda sistem? Apakah ini akan berakibat negatif terhadap kebijakan-kebijakan strategis yang seharusnya memiliki orientasi jangka panjang untuk meningkatkan kualitas sumber daya manusia di Indonesia? Ini kalau didiskusikan kayaknya dua hari dua malam nggak selesai ini. Jadi I prefer to leave it to the government hands saja dah. Ini mungkin jadi PR bagi pemerintah saja untuk memikirkan, jangan sampai lah seperti ini terus gitu. Mungkin kali ya Pak.
Can I give you a short answer?
Yeah, little bit. Okay, go on.
Okay, jadi sebenarnya dari Profesor Slamet tadi kita telah mendengarkan banyak sekali informasi mengenai betapa dunia berubah dengan sangat cepat. Ya, perubahan itu diilhami oleh revolusi teknologi informasi dan komunikasi, mulai dari revolusi pertama sampai saat ini kita telah memasuki revolusi ke-5 kalau tidak salah. Dan setiap perubahan revolusi itu ada tenggang waktu yang semakin singkat. Dulu perubahan itu 10 tahun, menjadi 5 tahun, menjadi 3 tahun, menjadi 1 tahun. Kalau sekarang kita lihat produk handphone itu, perubahannya sebenarnya kurang dari 1 tahun. Jadi setiap 10 bulan mereka akan mengekspos sebuah produk baru. Nah, saya pikir perubahan kebijakan ini harus inline dengan adanya disrupsi yang terjadi di era global saat ini, sehingga kebijakan tidak lagi harus terpasung ya dalam operasionalisasinya, tetapi harus berubah sesuai dengan perkembangan zaman. Walaupun visinya tentu saja seperti yang kita lihat saat ini, visi Ki Hajar Dewantara masih mengilhami apa yang kita lakukan sekarang, tetapi implementasinya harus mengikuti perubahan yang terjadi. Itu yang pertama. Kemudian yang kedua, kita ingin menghindari adanya yang disebut silo mentality. Apa itu silo mentality? Yaitu adanya kondisi di mana sebenarnya kita mengarah pada satu produk yang sama, yaitu menciptakan SDM yang berkualitas di semua jenjang, mulai dari jenjang PAUD sampai ke jenjang pendidikan tinggi. Tetapi kadang-kadang ketika jenjang pendidikan tinggi ini berpisah dengan jenjang pendidikan dasar dan menengah, ini silo mentality ini kadang-kadang muncul. Nah, oleh karena itu penyatuan ini adalah upaya untuk menghilangkan silo mentality sehingga ada kesinambungan ya, ada kesinambungan kebijakan mulai dari tingkat yang paling fondasi yaitu PAUD sampai ke pendidikan tinggi. Itu jawaban singkatnya. Makasih.
Okay, thank you so much, Bapak Muhammad Hasbi. And then from Nabila Ningtyas, yes, but actually what you asked had already discussed before. Regarding the great presentations of Miss Shirley, I would like to ask, in terms of developing students' character, MMSU as the prominent university, what teaching and learning experience do you facilitate for students of MMSU? Actually, on the presentations of Miss Shirley, she had already explained this all. After all, maybe you can learn again from the PPT slides. Okay, thank you. The committee has already given me a wave. Okay, time is up. Okay. Okay, thank you so much for all the plenary speakers today. Thank you, Bapak Muhammad Hasbi.
Thank you, Madam Moderator.
Yeah, thank you, Bapak Azari. Thank you, Mr. Krit Sachai, and thank you, Miss or Madam Shelley. And last, thank you, Bapak Slamet. But before we close, I would like to coin something that I noted from this talk from Bapak Muhammad Hasbi. He shared the new horizons of education in Indonesia through freedom of learning policy, and then Mr. Hashari gave insight of the nowadays effects of learners in online distance learning, and then Mr. Kitsachai actually mostly reminded us on the correlation of education and nationality among Asian countries. And then Ms. Shirley, one thing that I point out from her talk is about open-minded. So open but critical. That's nice. I love it. And then Mr. Slamet, yeah, one thing that I also pay more attention on it is how to manage the human quality. And I remember that 4 basic things when we want to achieve the best quality of human. Okay, thank you very much for all participants and also speakers in this plenary sessions. Before we close, I would like to invite Bapak Imam, Dr. Imam Ghazali, MSE, for giving the token of appreciations. Okay. Because here we have Bapak Slamet, would you please to stand up? And then the rest, because this is a virtual hybrid seminar, so others maybe can watch from the Zoom. Okay. Bapak Imam Ghazali, would you please to Redefine that token appreciation to Bapak Slamet as the appreciations of spending some times with us. Thank you.
We award this Indonesia apa sekarang? Bahasa Indonesia. Okay. On behalf of the rector of the UST, we present this certificate to mark that Prof. Samad has presented his papers in this international seminar and call papers commemorating the 100th anniversary of Tamansiswa. Thank you, President, for your presentations, and we appreciate your thought and suggestions for this forum. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Well, actually, this is for all, but unfortunately, you are not here yet. So I try to be representative of you all. Okay, so I miss you all. Sometime we can meet you. Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof. Charlie and Prof. Prof. Muhammad. Oh, forgot name. Azari, Prof. R. Shirley, Archivist, and also someone.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Kit Sachai.
Kip Sanchai.
Yeah.
From Simeo. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, finally, please give applause. In this room, give applause. And then those on Zoom, would you please to share your appreciation through WhatsApp, through chat box, or provide the features from Zoom. Okay, again, thank you so much, and apologies for all my mistakes during these sessions. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Well, as our appreciation to the keynote speakers, we would like to give a certificate virtually. For the first speaker is Bapak Muhammad Hasbi. We would like to say thank you, and we will give it a certificate. Please give applause to Bapak Muhammad Hasbi. And the second speaker is Associate Professor Dr. Azhari bin M.D. Hasmin from UITM Malaysia. Please give applause to Bapak Hasari. And the third speaker is Dr. Krit Sachai Somsaman from the Siameo Secretariat, Thailand. Please give applause. The fourth Okay, so for Bapak Dr. Azhari bin MD Hashim for UITM Malaysia, thank you for your time. And the third speaker is Dr. Krit Sachai Somsaman as the Deputy Director of Siameo Secretariat, Thailand. Please give applause. And next is the fourth speaker, Dr. Shirley C. Agrupis, PhD, as the President of Mariano Marcos State University, Philippines. Thank you, and give applause to Dr. Shirley. Okay. Thank you for all the speakers for sharing a fruitful knowledge with us today. And for the next agenda is a closing speech delivered by the chairman of the committee, Bapak Reza Bayu Kurniawan, ST-MSG. The floor is yours.
Honorable keynote speakers, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, salam dan bahagia. A century of Tamansiswa confirms the spirit of Indonesian education transformation initiated by our education founding father, Ki Hajar Dewantara. During the last decade, Tamansiswa has been increasingly adapting to different eras by relying on our noble values of Ajaran Tamansiswa. In today's modern world, represented by the presence of rapid technological development, this situation not only provides the opportunities, but also the challenges for this institution to strive bringing up the future Indonesian golden generation based on our local culture. The principle of sifat, bentuk, isi, dan irama, or attitude, form, content, and melody, encourage our future excellent generation to have our own traits, as well as to actualize the nature, talent of young generation amid today's global competition. The pandemic outbreak over the last 2 years has obviously affected our education system significantly. There have been various changes made by our authority as well as all educational institutions to ensure the sustainability of this sector. And of course, we couldn't overlook the vital roles of technology which bring positive benefits. Besides, the ubiquitous technology enables rapid and open access learning materials which allows people to learn from the unlimited number of sources. This is strongly relevant to our founding fathers' message, a freedom to learn, as every place is a school and everyone is a teacher. Accordingly, it's clear that by keeping up the principle of Tamansiswa, the national education goals could be achieved. Finally, we express our highly appreciation to the distinguished speakers who already shared their thoughts. Bapak Jumeri, who was represented by Bapak Muhammad Hasbi, the Director of Early Childhood, Primary and Secondary Education, the Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology of the Republic of Indonesia, Associate Professor Dr. Azari bin Hasim as the Deputy Rector from UITM Malaysia, Dr. Kritsachai Somsaman as the Deputy Director of Simeo Secretariat Thailand, Dr. Shirley Agrupis as the President of Mariano Marcos State University, the Philippines, and Professor Slamet as the Head of Education and Culture of Majelis Luhur Persatuan Tamansiswa and all the participants here. Also, we would like to thank to our respected Professor Dr. Sri Edi Swasono Niti Diningrat as the Head of Majelis Luhur Tamansiswa, Professor Pardimin as the Steering Committee and Director of UST, Dr. Saur Panjaitan as the Chairman of the Organizing Committee, and Dr. Yuyun Yulia as the Coordinator of the seminar. We are very pleased that this international seminar and call for paper commemorating the 100th anniversary of Tamansiswa could take place successfully. And we do hope that this forum leads us to more fruitful collaborations in the future. Thank you and salam.
Thank you, Bapak Reza, for the closing speech. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to have a break before we're joining the parallel session at 12:30. And for all the presenter, can join in the breakout room at 12:30. I would like to thank you to all the distinguished guests and all the participants for joining this special occasion, a seminar and call for paper commemorating the 100th anniversary of Tamansiswa with the theme Education, Culture, and Internationalism in New Era. On behalf of the organizing committee, I do apologize for inconvenience during this event. See you on the next occasion and have a good day. Salam.